Well, hello there, guys. I hope everybody is doing well. It is a beautiful morning over here where I am at. Things are alive and moving. The markets are nuts and crazy. So it's been pretty fun. I'm kind of going over things here. Just real quick, let's go ahead and get this right out of the way. The disclaimer, no investment advice. The information provided in this video and website and live stream does not constitute as investment advice, financial advice, trading advice, or any other sort of advice and should not treat any of the videos and website content as such. Moonrock Coin co-host and guest do not recommend that any cryptocurrency or any other assets that are mentioned should be bought, sold, or held by the viewer or listener. Do conduct your own due diligence and consult your financial advisor before making any investment decisions. I am not a financial advisor, and this content only means, and this content is only meant for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a tax professional on any gains or losses as a result of investing into crypto or any assets invested in. This is not financial advice, but is only for entertainment and social educational purposes only. Excellent. All right, guys. So here we are today. It's really unique. I mean, some of the stuff that's actually going on right now with Do Kwon going on and everything that's happening there. We have the merge happening. It is happening. It's a countdown. We're 1 day away. This thing here, it's about to get down and dirty here. It's going to be Going to be interesting to see if we see a big sell-off at ETH or if we see major buying coming in. So that's going to be another interesting to talk about. Real inflation numbers. That is really where we're going to talk about. I'm going to go over some of that stuff there, and kind of go over some of that in regards to how the traditional markets are moving, in regards to the actual real, just a bunch of stuff going on there. Also, one of the things we might have a few guests jump in and out. I invited a bunch of people. We'll see what happens. I like to keep my live stream here very fluid and allow people to come in and out. There are certain people that I like to see. Almost, I don't know if you guys remember Howard Stern. Listen, the guy was a controversial man, but the man was a brilliant man and actually had to market things. We know this because the man was one of the most well listened to guy next to Joe Rogan. I mean, I remember when he was on E and a few other, he went on Sirius and stuff like that. This guy was a smart man. But one of the things he always did, he's had his people that would come in and out. They were like his, I don't know what to call them, like just friends or whatever, right? And so a lot of these guys want to keep the show kind of fluid like that, where they come in and out, they can call in if they want to, or if the people want to pop in. I look forward to the day where we actually have people coming in and out as well. So that will come in, and that's how I'm trying to set up the show. And additionally to that, we will have co-hosts come in and out. Like I said, Mike in Crypto Bull there. He's a co-host. He comes in whenever he can. He does a lot of stuff with a bunch of, or not a bunch, but a few of the call channels on Telegram. So nothing he leads and runs one of it. And just want to shout it out because he does such a good job with it. I always want to shout out. So when you don't see me, when you don't see him with us, that's typically where he's at. So typically, let me find this here real quick. Boom. It is on Telegram at Dream Calls 100, or excuse me, 100x. That is at Dream Calls 100x. Where he's an AMA host, where he handles stuff. So if ever you want to go listen to him as well, you can go listen to him. He does a lot of good projects over there, where he is launching. Also, we have good old Brinks, who works for Vetter, who will be coming on. He should be here in a few minutes, but we'll see what happens there. He also has other jobs and stuff that he takes care of. He vets for Vetter, and he's one of the top vetters there. In addition to that, we also have Ninja Lounge now being part of our group, kind of just coming in and out. And then one last one, and I'm kind of stoked about this, is Brian at, and let me make sure because there's a lot of names here. Brian at the Coin Launch community. You can find them also on Telegram as well. Just type in coin launch committee. He came in yesterday, and we were definitely talking charts, and the market as a whole was pretty fun. So we'll see what happens there if he comes in. And a lot of these guys currently have AMAs at the time right now with other projects as they are going to be launching. So if those projects really start to take head and stuff like that and get a pretty strong, good community and start to see movement, especially during this down market, those are important to pay attention to, because in an up market, those things are going to be screaming. So we'll see what happens there. The other thing I want to bring into as well is, if you guys have any questions, concerns, you can always find me at Moonrock Coin on, and I think the exact, give me 1 second here. The exact moniker here is, it is Moonrock Coin Official, and go through, just type that into Telegram, download Telegram, type that in, and you will find me as Pedro Moonrock. So that's where you'll find me. Come on. Let's go. Yep, there it is. There it is. All right, boom. You can just, that's how you guys can find me and communicate with me. Also, you can find me on Twitter as at Pedro JR Garcia 79. And also, that is the same way you can find me on Facebook and a few other places. Reach out to me if you have any questions, concerns, and I will be able to help you guys out with certain things with that, okay? Regarding charts and stuff like that. So also, Celsius is in the news, restructuring. Like I said in the past, I definitely have been looking at them and have a little bit of a bag with them at those low levels that we saw at like the 19, 20, 25 cent mark. I just thought it was a cheap deal. So I got a small little bag, and we'll see what happens with that. But I know that they're in the news, restructuring and everything. And I do like their CEO. Their CEO is just the ride or die guy. I feel like he's one of those guys, just has grit and it's tenacious. And I feel like he's just gonna make things happen. So we'll see what happens with it. But let's go and jump into the news, or jump into crypto prices here real quick. So the overall market cap with crypto is $996 billion, to top off the top mark of the crypto. Just all the cryptos. How much? Oh, and where they're at. Let's talk it. This is BTC, Bitcoin, sitting at 20,000, and it is literally, and this is crazy for me to even think about. I was just, we'll talk about that later. But right now it is down 3%, 4% down for the day, in comparison to what we saw yesterday. Ethereum is at 1,600, and it is, pardon me, up 0.55% for the day. BUSD, as we can see, is at 280, and it is sitting at the 0.68% down for the day. XRP is sitting at 0.33, at 0.53% down for the day. Cardano 88 is 48 cents, and it is up 3.46% for the day. Check that out. Solana, with their beautiful phone there, and Helium kind of coming along with them, is sitting at $33.51, and they are down 4.16% for the day. Polkadot, which is $7.24, sitting at 0.31% down for the day. Dogecoin is 0.06%, and it is up 0.74% for the day. Poly, or Matic, or Polygon, is sitting at 85 cents, and it is up 0.15 cents for the day. When we look at Shiba Inu, some of the people's favorite altcoins or meme coins, it is at 0.000012, and it is up 0.9, almost 1% for the day. We got Tron sitting at 0.06 cents, and it is down 0.05% for the day. And that tops off the top, I think, about 10. So I think that's about it. So let's go ahead and move Now, right into our news here, real quick, and this is where I find really interesting. So, news-wise, Do Kwon is out. I mean, he is a wanted man. Singapore, not Singapore, Paul. He's on every major news. It's nuts. He is literally a wanted man. Um, Here we are. The South Korean court issues arrest warrant against Terra co-founder Do Kwon. He is a wanted man, and he's hoping. South Korea is hoping that many of the other nations will work with them. Um, to basically see if they can go through and arrest this man. So we'll see what happens. He's a wanted man. I feel bad for him. He was cocky. I mean, and it's what's going to be interesting to see is where this man lands in 10 years, right? Is he going to recoup? Is he going to recoup? Is he going to recoup and be smart and kind of, you know, rebrand himself? Is he going to come out and work really hard and maybe create another? I mean, we don't know what he's going to do, but it's going to be interesting to see and follow his career here. Um, the other thing I also think about with him, and this is one of those things that him and his whole entire cohort, um, they got a lot of money. Like they have a legit lot of money, so they can hide for a while, you right? And he's got enough money to, I mean, get facial surgery, um, things that he needs to do to be able to kind of change. So himself, will he hide out in Mexico for the rest of his life? I mean, Mexico, with all its pros and cons, it's still, you find a nice little town there and you live there and you have a good time, or you can go live in South America, someplace in Africa, South Africa. I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see where he's able to hide and where he's able to put things. So the man's got money. We'll see if he sends off and runs, or if he's gonna, come and bring himself in. I think if he brings himself in, they'll probably throw the book at him at first, but it'll be interesting to sit there and see if he comes about and puts himself forward. So that's another thing I'm really looking forward to seeing. Um, Also, some of my guests I'm going to bring in are people just from the industry. I want to bring this up here as well. I have a bunch of friends that are coders, and and they basically they come in and they I love to hear from them what they think about crypto. Some of them are even in crypto, but they are coders and they do a lot of work for the industry as security experts and things like that. One friend of mine who's a top expert when it comes to working on not blockchains, security protocols for major corporations, right? And he works as just, he's a very smart man. But he's starting to pay attention to crypto. You would have thought that he would have been in crypto 10 years ago, right? But it's just not something that, he's got a family and kids. I have a couple other friends of mine that are literally um single guys and or girls, and they're just they're starting to pay attention too. So it's really interesting to see what's going on. So give me 1 second. There we go. Sorry about that. Here we are. Just a quick little respond. Here we are. The other thing to bring up as well as, let's talk about Sean. If you go and you check out some of my stuff that I put on my not Instagram, excuse me, LinkedIn profile, just type in Pedro Garcia, crypto chart analysis with charting. Um, you'll see here that Shell, and I'm actually going through and I'm looking at this. Shell is actually going through and getting into the tokenization of energy. And so this is really interesting because, right now, the primary people who make money, right, within energy are major conglomerates, right, who really, and the populace like us, unless if you have an oil field, right, or something where you can pull oil or some form of major wind power, or even, I guess you do make some money if you have solar panels, right? It does take money off of your electric bill. But the reason why I bring this up is because Shell the juggernaut, one of the biggest and largest exporters and producers of crude oil, they're looking to tokenize crude oil and also looking to, and by 2050, I believe that is the exact date, 2050, to be basically their goal is to stop emitting carbon by 2050. That's pretty ambitious for me when I think about that. I'm actually reading this right off of the Rohit Adlakhan's um, Adlakhan. Forgive me if I butcher your name, my brother. Um, right off his post, right on LinkedIn. So that's going to be something that's really going to be interesting. I think they will be a test for other corporations like BP and all these other companies that are out there really moving forward with this as well, or not maybe paying attention and watching Shell move forward with this. Because here's the thing. Right now, the only thing we can really make money off of, right, is maybe if you buy their stock, right, and you receive some type of dividend. But if you buy a cryptocurrency at its low value, right, and then you're able to stake at really good value and get the capital appreciation, it's gonna be really interesting to see how that moves forward, especially as if they start to do really well, right, and you see a huge push and surplus of cash, we definitely are going to see other major players get into crypto as well as the industry and blockchain and really try to bring in cash because money talks, right? That's the truth. So if you start to see a major increase of this, and there's a lot of taxes within crypto and a lot of money that gets paid and also gets distributed to the holders. So it's been really interesting to see how that works. And additionally to that, if we do see that come in, right, I think one of the biggest things that we could see is an adoption with major nations as well, right? Because one of the biggest things that people are using is and what's the word I want to use? The fact that crypto is new, right, and that it's speculative, and there's a lot of and rightly so. I don't disagree with that, right? I do not disagree with that, but I do think that governments and countries, and like last week, I talked about how we literally have had some major, or not, excuse me, last week, but yesterday, how there are a lot of countries out there that are looking for adoption and are doing test nets and going out there and really checking things out to see if they can actually implement it and what it would look like with their own cryptocurrency as a nation. Um, so it's going to be really interesting to see by Shell jumping into this as a major producer. What's it going to do? I think the world is kind of watching this and seeing how this works out. It's going to be really interesting to sit there and see that as well. The other thing I want to bring up, and this is another thing, Cardano Foundation. We all know that there are so many things going on with that organization. I mean, Cardano has been one of those things that I would say um, a just a juggernaut in the industry. But I felt like they weren't getting a lot of play and not a lot. That's what I'm looking for. There's just not I felt like not as much as respect. I mean, but then they went through, and let me go through to this article here because this article is really interesting. It's actually Watcher Guru, and basically Cardano, they basically did another re, it was, I think it was Ethereum and another other blockchain that was set above them as the most used and tech development with on their blockchain. But then Cardano was like, look at this, look at this. We have almost 2-3 times the amount that you're counting us for. And so they did another restructure and they realized, wow, Cardano is massive and they keep growing, especially in this down market. It's a beautiful thing. So it's one of those things I feel like we I'm just looking forward to seeing Cardano really just take in and push this. I mean, we'll see what happens. There might even be another one. We don't know in 10, 15 years, just like right now, it's 20 years, it's been around since the internet, right? 20, 25 years. In 20, 25 years when, I'm in my 60s and 70s here, doing the show, and who knows, I might be doing the show in the metaverse, sitting down and hanging out with you guys. That would be a fun thing, just to invite you guys to some form of metaverse, right, where I could talk with you guys face to face. But in those time periods, to see, is there going to be another major push that another blockchain is going to come out? Will Ethereum, will Bitcoin, and many of these top blockchains here right now or will they be around? We'll see. Like I remember Yahoo was huge, huge. I used Yahoo, for everything. Now I use Google, or a few other search engines. So it's really interesting to see what will be the YouTube of in 20 years within blockchain, right? Will YouTube go to blockchain? Right. And will they post all this stuff? Will they monetize it to everybody else? Or are they going to be like the dodo bird, right? Or are they going to be like Kodak, where they just said, you know what, we're a juggernaut. We're not going to change. So it's going to be really interesting to see as we move forward with this. So shout out to Cardano for really just pushing hard. The other thing I want to bring up, and this is another really interesting thing here, and KKR or KKR and um, let's go ahead and pull this up. This is a Wall Street Journal article here, and this was really cool. KKR and Company basically is a fund for healthcare, and they've been investing into blockchain and a lot of other things. They're actually going on the actual blockchain as a um, fund. Basically, they're the biggest private equity firm. Have basically aggressive courting high net worth individuals. You got to basically have $5 million just to start to get into their fund. Okay, I think out of total they're up to $491 billion. To actually as a total fund of wealth management. Their entire goal is where they, like I said, they invest into healthcare protocols, the inoperability of things like that, the inoperability of protocols to come in and really work. I think they're putting a lot of money into that. I don't know 100% about it, but what I do want to bring up is this, is that they are literally going to be launching on Avalanche as a public blockchain, which is crazy. Um, they are basically within the Healthcare Strategic Growth Fund. That's what they actually are. And they're going to make it available so if you want to invest, what you're going to have to do is go and get an actual a like a DeFi wallet. Whether it's going to, they're going to do, they're going to, you're going to have to buy AVAX and then be able to buy their fund through AVAX. So this is mind blowing. I don't know if they're going to basically be tokenized. So, and I'll pull this up here. I want to read this right. So quantified purchase. Let me read this first part. The buyout firm is partnering with digital assets specialized in security. And let me go ahead. This is a Wall Street Journal. Forgive me, a Wall Street Journal publication here. The buy. I'll just read it from the beginning. KKR and Company is making a slice of one of its private equity funds available on the public blockchain. In the latest bid to expand individual investors' access to private investment vehicles, the buyout firm is partnering with digital asset specialists Securitize, which will tokenize and interact. Excuse me, which will tokenize an interest in the second iteration of KKR's Healthcare Strategic Growth Fund and make it available on the Avalanche public chain. Executives from both companies said qualified purchase, generally those with at least 5 million in investment assets who create a digital wallet and sign up with Securitize, will be able to invest in the KKR fund via what will effectively be a tokenized feeder fund. After a year of holding the security, investors will be able to sell it to other qualified individuals on the secondary market, managed by a unit of Securitize. Blockchain is a data structure that makes it possible to create a digital ledger of transaction and share it among a distributed network of computers. Executive said the move to KKR will be the first time a major private equity firm has made a portion of a fund available on the blockchain in the US. So I believe this is huge. This is so huge. just simply because it is really putting things out there and really pushing forward crypto in from traditional finance and to what we're seeing in blockchain and crypto world. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that interacts and how that plays out. Something we will keep up and pay attention to. Also, and I want to throw this out here. We talked about this earlier. Celsius Network CEO plans basically to restructure and kind of set everything right back up. The CEO plans to revive after crypto crash. Basically, the CEO of Celsius Network has begun outlining a plan for the firm's comeback. Celsius filed for bankruptcy back in July of 2022 as a direct result of the major crypto crash in spring. Alex Mashin's forgive me if I'm messing that up, but Mashin Sky spoke with the Celsius Network employees in a meeting on September 8th. He will outline a plan for the firm's revival according to a recording of the event shared with the New York Times. So I say that because I want to pull up at what they're actually doing here, because I did, but like I said, back in these areas here, I was looking at Celsius. So let's go ahead and pull this up. So it's interesting that this article populated to, I think, a few days ago on the 8th, right? So that's back here on the 8th, right? But we see almost a sell-off first, and then we see a big buy, and I just found this really, really interesting to see what's going on here. So I'm really interested to see how this is going to play out, right? The market is going down. Yeah, we do see this kind of bucking the trend. So is this a momentary buck, or are we going to see Celsius rally hard again? Real interesting to see what's going to happen there. I'm really curious to see how they're going to play this. I know he's a smart man. He's got a lot of things that he's doing, so it's going to be interesting to see how he handles this whole entire thing. And I'm rooting for him. You know what I'm saying? I really am. I hope that Alex really, if ever you want to come on the show, would love to even talk to you and pick your brain. Obviously, you can't just disclose a bunch of craziness, or not crazy. You can't disclose a bunch of stuff that you're going to be doing, but just to even talk to you about your mindset. Like with the crypto crash and how everything played out. I still applaud you for that, and just your tenaciousness to stay with what you started. That's huge. So I give you respect for that. The next thing I want to bring up as well, and I think this is another thing that as we move forward, and let me pull this up here real quick so we can get the full details. Let's go into real numbers of inflation. Okay, I love shadow government statistics. I actually found them on the, it was the, not CoinDesk. Come on, why am I forgetting what they are? Not the Decrypt. Come on, baby. I apologize about this, guys. Here they are. Boom. Come on, where you at? The daily crypto report, basically, that they were talking about the CPI numbers, and they brought up, one of their guys brought up the shadow government, and I've heard about the real statistics right here and there, but they brought up the shadow government statistics, and so this basically goes in what the real numbers are actually at. So I'm going to read through these so we can actually see this. And I read through this real quick today, and I just want to bring this up because it's kind of shocking, real inflation that they use to calculate back in the 80s and 70s, and how they were able to actually go through, because the numbers that we get today aren't they don't use the same rigorous they don't use the same particular items to use to actually gauge inflation, right? They use different ones today versus what they used back in the 70s and 80s. So this is something that we can check out. And so this one actually tracks the real number of what people are paying and the inflation cost of things. So we can jump into this here real quick. So September 13th to the 14th, September 13th update at 4 4:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Headlines unadjusted annual CPI was 8.3 in August 2022 versus 8.5 in July. Shadow statistics stats alternate was 16.5 in August versus 16.8 in July, with a continued hit from a declining of gasoline prices. Yet, and this is key, right? Uh, Yet, August real disposable income continues to sink year to year, hitting a cycle trot, basically the down part of the cycle, down by 5.2% to negative 5.2. So this is really interesting for all employees. Headline annual poverty survey and income report showed continue. Oh, why am I forgetting this? Deterrational. And listen, I'm not going to pretend to be super smart. I just find good stuff when I look at them. Deterration. Although such was non-statistically meaningful, given the government's use of understood headlines inflation. Excuse me, my eyes jumped there. Although such was not statistically meaningful, given the government's use of understated headlines inflation. Previously, July 2022 trade deficit narrowed on top of revisited deepening deficits in recent months. August 22 headlines unemployment jumped 2% to 3.7% as the prior month's July 2022 pandemic. Recovery in payroll employment disappeared, purpose purportedly shifting now to August 2022 amidst regular BLS seasonal adjusted reporting gimmicks. Preliminary August 2022. Anyways, this goes over into deep, but just I want to bring this up here that it's actually 16.5 percent, which is the real inflation that we're seeing, right? Versus the actual 8. So it's almost double than what we're seeing today. And especially the fact that we did see a drop in crude oil. I do feel like we're going to see an increase in crude oil just because what we're looking at right now, and we're going to check this out here real quick. I have some of my numbers here that I'm pulling up, but we can see here that, look, we blew through this, and I believe I said if we fall through here, we're definitely going to find some support at this level here. So for me, I'm looking at these levels as really, if we come and pierce and close above that 50 period moving average, we're going to see another rally. And this is what typically it will look like. We see it close above this number of 97. Okay. And I want to see it with strong volume, right? And I'm going to point this out here. We'll see this rally from here, bounce, right? Here, like we'll see it bounce, come down, put in a higher low, and push through, come back, test, and then we'll start to see this rally again. So this area is kind of critical as we're coming up and rallying. We're finding support on that 8 period moving average here on crude oil. So it's one of those things that we need to be paying attention to, especially as crude oil is moving. This will change. This will change the markets as we know. So these are certain areas that we need to make sure that we're paying attention to. Yesterday we did have a doji here, so it is showing, and it was with conviction here, with volume. So we could see another sell-off, but again, I still see a lot of fighting as it drops down here. Right, so we can see here, people are buying in these levels, and I don't see a lot of shorting coming in here. So I do see it's coming up to that 97 or that 98, 97 area, the 93 area here as we test that. Why am I forgetting that? The 50 period moving average here. That's going to be another major indication of whether we're going to move forward. Let's check out the higher time frames here as we check. So right here, we also have, come on, the 8-period moving average on that weekly sitting right here. We see that it has been trending, but we did pierce it through here. And so that's another thing we need to pay attention to, right? We also have it bouncing off that 89.50 period moving average. So, or excuse me, not 50, but 89 period moving average. So again, another dynamic push here. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. Boom, and then the 50. Now that I'm looking at this right here, I should have paid attention more of that. This is going to be interesting to see what happens here. This was a demand zone that became now supply. So it's going to be really interesting to see right here. Let me go pull this up here real quick. So either way, these are little interesting areas as we do move forward. But I do think that from a fundamental level, this because crude oil does run the world, it does handle everything that we know. We see here that it could come back up to this 101, and we can see some ping-ponging action in between that 50 as well as the 20-period moving average right here. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens this week. We are now on Wednesday here. We've got a few reports, I believe, coming in today, and it's going to be really interesting to see what actually happens within the market for today. Here we are. We have crude oil inventory stepping in right here. So we see here that they did have the actual versus the actual forecast. They were lower of demand here. So here we are. Boom, PPI and August. Want to make sure this is today. Yeah. So we can see here, guys, that we actually were lower in demand versus higher. So I want to make sure 22 million increase. So yeah, or maybe lower. Excuse me, it was lower, not higher, but lower in demand. So it's gonna be really interesting to see what happens as we move forward. That means people aren't driving as much. So of course, people are gonna slow down their demand. So we could see a sell-off here in the chart. But I think because the fact is that Americans, I mean, we'll find out what happens. I do think that we are going to see an increase just from the charts here of oil coming back up into these levels, at least the 84 to the 95. As we find support coming in, let's check out this monthly chart here real quick as well. Look at that. We bounced off of that. Here we are. Let me put this in here real quick, guys. There we are. Nice. Okay, excellent. There we are. And let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. There we are. Okay. So we can see here, guys, we're definitely ping-ponging off this area here. And the other thing that we can definitely see is just simply, we very much could have come up to the 99 period here for this month, retest and come back down and just see what it's going to do. I am definitely bullish on crude oil just simply because of some of the mechanisms that we are seeing. We've had this temporary reserve come in where the U.S. government is using its own reserve, right, until the elections, right? We definitely see Biden coming in and keeping the price down artificially. I feel as if once, if they win or lose, it's going back to normal, and the use and need for worldwide crude oil supplies. And this is important to also understand. We are blowing through these reserves within the U.S. Um, at an astronomical rate, right? So sooner or later, we're going to run out. We'll find out if they actually have enough. And mind you, this stuff is used, like this reserve is not supposed to be used for, this actually makes me mad. It's not supposed to be used for a political bartering rate with the people, right? It's supposed to be used in case of wartime or something happens, that our reserves are there for times like that, right? That we can use that to actually help protect America. So it's actually pretty disgusting that they're putting America at rate. If, let's say, China was to come in and decide, and I doubt this would ever happen, but who knows? We don't know in this world today that China would step in and come in and attack, and all of a sudden we don't have the reserve that we might need. So I think it's a gross mismanagement um, of America's resources, especially by the incumbent uh, uh, regime that we have. and I think both are regimes, whether you're Democrat or Republican, man. I think it's the same coin, just different sides, and they all party at night with each other. So who knows? I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they actually do fight with each other, but I feel like they don't really put us first. So as the American people. But yeah, I just really interested to see. This is why personally I think I am bullish on crude oil, because once these reserves go away, we're going to see a rally. And so for me, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, we can see here, even though the volume is going down, I do see us pushing forward, and we do see defense kicking in. We do see the defense on the daily as well. You can see on the weekly that they are buying. Like crude oil is being bought. Like you can see here in the charts. So I feel like we're hitting certain areas, and it wouldn't be hard really to, once they win the election or lose the elections, and allow America to start going back and buying crude oil on the open market, to really see demand pick up, right? And it'll be interesting to see, as that demand picks up, what is going to happen during Christmas, during the holidays. So we'll find out in November what happens. So it's going to be really interesting to see as we move forward. Here we go. And let us not forget also with that. Let me pull this up here too. There was where is this at? There we go. Craig writes. Craig Wright has declared himself to be, and this has been going on, but I want to bring this up because I find it funny that, I'm going to say funny, that's the wrong word to use. He is saying that he is Satoshi Nakamoto, right? That the guy who created Bitcoin, and and listen, he's done a lot of good work. Like he's done a lot of good work in the industry. He's written a lot of publications. And I'm not saying he is or if he isn't, but if there was going to be somebody, it might be him. But then why did he wait this long? That's what I'm saying. Why would you wait so long? I would have come out a long time ago. So maybe he was waiting for the civil unrest. Maybe he didn't want to die. Maybe he wanted so much stuff to be going on in the world. So when he came out, supposedly he has the keys for the wallets, and he showed a couple people, or he showed one person in particular about it. So it was just this, I don't know. It's just really interesting to see how this case is going to go. And if he is, I would have kept my mouth shut. If I was in his position, I would have said nothing, and let Bitcoin be, because then it brings just, I think part of the of Bitcoin and its allure is the fact that it was created either by a group or a person, or entity, right? Like maybe even a corporation or even a nation. I don't know. There's some people who said it was Russia, right? And Putin who really did it. There's just been so many, stories and myths about who created Bitcoin, that when I consider how this guy just finally decides to come out, was it he got nervous and he wanted to be ultimately the guy who came out and we all have a backstory, right? Like the villain backstory, or the I don't know, the superhero's backstory, right? Did he want to finally say, "Oh, it's me"? So it's just something that's find really interesting as well. So that's it in a nutshell. Also, one last thing, and we can go into news. The CEO says, Binance, it looks like France, says the company has hired 150 people in Paris and plans to hire another 200 more by the end of the year. So if you're in Paris and you like blockchain and you're just looking to get into the career of like a budding career, look to hit up Binance. I mean, Binance is hiring out there, so it's something to be smart about. Oh, here we go. Here's another one here. South Korea city Busan partners with crypto exchange Huobi to help develop its blockchain ecosystem. It's funny. All right, I'm gonna put it like this. So I've never like all these sometimes these hard words I just don't know, right? And I'm not like I said, I am never going to claim to be the smartest or the brightest or the sharpest tack in the tool box or the brightest light, right? And so I typically would just read over some of the words I just don't know. So now that I'm actually on air here, please forgive me for butchering names as well as not saying things correctly. And if you guys want to send me even a voicemail, you can, like I said, hit me up on Moonrock and be able to talk to me there as well. So we can go ahead and pull things out. But yeah, it's really interesting to see what is going on here in the world of Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, but just crypto in general. It's really interesting to see. All right, guys, well, let's go ahead and now go into our segment. I want to talk about real quick an educational part. So when it comes to trading, um, one of the things that I do like looking at, right? Like obviously, you guys can see that I look at moving averages, as well as I play off of basically supply and demand, right? And then I personally am um, a confirmation trader, which means that I wait for the trend to start. I just don't jump into a zone and hoping that it's going to hold. I want to see how it comes in on a smaller time frame, like on a 5-15 minute, and I want to see volume stepping in. Now, the reason why I bring this up is simply because we all have different indicators. Brian came on, and he uses a different indicator yesterday. The reason why I say that, because as people progress in trading, that's good coffee. Um, I there is a change, right? In which once you realize, oh wait, this isn't working, then you want to find something else that does work. It's important to gauge how many times you see from a percentage level if an indicator is working well for you, if it's not. Typically, based off of your rules, you want a rule or a indicator that you're using to base your rules off of. As example, let's use this as an example. And this is a good way of looking at this. All right. So let's say one of my rules, and I'm going to use this, and you can use any type of indicator there, but I want to tell you kind of how to build your own rules here to be able to play. So one of my rules is basically I want to see 3 candles above my 8 moving average as it moves to the upside. Now, obviously, I have a few other rules outside of that. But this is one of my rules, right? I want to see 3 candles above that 8 moving average. So it closes. So here's my 8. I got 1, 2, 3. And typically I want to see, okay, as it comes down into my SMA, where I'm looking to maybe base my entry on, right? And this is actually where I would actually hold my stop loss at, okay? I want to basically just gauge, okay, I want to enter here. And as it starts to push up, my risk to reward is sitting where I typically want it to be. And I know my risk to reward and where it could go. So personally, I will use that A moving average as a rule for me to enter. I know what my risk to reward ratio is, as well as I know what my win ratio is regarding that rule. And I have other rules are that are before this rule as it's happening. Okay. So, but I'm building those up so to make sure that my trading is better. And so it's important to be able to keep statistical analysis of your trades as you're moving forward. Because if you don't, you're just playing willy-nilly and you're just out there playing. And you're not being serious. He who keeps his numbers literally is the one who wins. If you know your numbers, you'll win. If you don't know your numbers, you're basically just like a butterfly in the wind, which is great. It's beautiful, but you're just kind of going all over the place, right? So I would encourage you making sure that when you're building your numbers, okay, and you're building your trading plan, that you're going through and being statistical, or you're keeping statistics behind it so that you can really gauge what you're doing. Because, for example, let's say you build a rule, okay, and you're like, oh, okay, great, but you don't understand why. If you keep the statistical charting of it, okay, of why it works, and you'll the sooner or later what's going to pop in is, why does it work here and why doesn't it work here, right? If it works here and it doesn't work over here, then there's something wrong. And so then your brain goes in and goes, okay, let's figure this out. Right? Boom. Danger, Will Robinson, look over there, right? It points to you, and then all of a sudden you're able to gauge, oh, this is the reason why. Okay. Then you start to play with that, right? And you start to understand how the relation is between them. So whatever indicator that you use, or whatever system you use, whether it is indicators or whether you like looking at the charts different, or you change everything out. Make sure that you keep control of your statistics. That's what helps everybody out. That's what helps me. That's what helps you. That everybody who's in the markets want to be able to see things. So I want to make sure that you guys understand that. Um, Charuz, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. I just saw that you said something there. Also, when it comes to your from an educational point as well, I want to do a spotlight here. Um, I truly believe anybody can make money in crypto. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are, right? I mean, you can play micro caps. You can play launches, right? You just gotta make sure that you're being smart in what you're doing. I have a friend of mine, and I can't put his name out there, but I'm really happy what he did. So he turned basically $100 into about $10,000. Okay, which was really happy. I was really happy for him. He got in on a launch, and I believe it did. I think it was 100x. It did something really crazy. Turned it in 10,000. Then, so he took a little bit of that base, right? And I told him, look, take 1% of whatever you make off of that, and I'll put it into something else. And you're gonna have, you're gonna mess around with that, but now you have a base to pull money from. You can take this now and put it over here and place it into here, right? He's got basically 100 trades that he can take, right, off of that $10,000. And one of them, and a lot of them are going to be crap, but a good portion of them, he's going to get at least a 2x to 5x. Some of those, right? And then some of them he's going to, it's going to break even. Some of them it's going to explode. He'll get 100. He might get 100x. He might get maybe 10x, 15x. So I told him to do that. And this guy is basically now made himself, he doesn't have to go back to work now. But what he was able to do is he just is now being wise in how he gets in. And so, like, I bring that up because anybody can do that, but you just got to pay attention, get into some good calls. Like, I bring on Brian, because I know Brian with Coin Launch Lounge, or Coin Launch Lounge, um, gives you good information. And I know that he really, really, like, the scammers stay away from him. I've watched him now over a while, and scammers are afraid of him because he calls them out. And so they just pretty much avoid him now. Same thing Mike with Crypto Bull. He's really trying to pay attention to stuff. So these are not long-term plays, but they're plays in where they'll help you make money, right? And some of them will be long plays, right? Like I know Mike has a moon bag. What moon bag is basically when somebody, right? Like for example, he put in $100, right? And he got 100x, right? Well, he didn't cash out all 10,000 coin or all $10,000, but he cashed out maybe 8,000. So he's got $2,000 worth of coins sitting here, right? He's got 8,000 now to play with, right? So he's left, but he only put in $100. You follow that? So what he did there was, he was able to set himself up. Actually, I think he even took. Well, I think he took 9,000 out. So and then he was able to play with that. But those are important to be able paying attention to. This like Brinks. Brinks is another one who deals with micro coins, right, within crypto, and he sits there and he plays it. And you can follow him too on Twitter as he posts new projects that are coming out that are potential plays. So these little things are important to be paying attention to. Okay, guys. Let's go ahead and move forward here. Let's go into the charts here now. Yes, sir. Boom, boom. Now, let's check out the S&P 500 real quick. Actually, let's check out the world and see how it's going. Yeah, yesterday you could see that it dropped everything. The CPI inflation news, and the reason why I bring this up is simply because I was actually a little bit wrong in regards to the fact is that even though the inflation numbers weren't that bad, they were not expected as low as they were, or they were expecting to be a little high or a little bit lower, and they were higher than what is expected of the previous month. So that's why we actually had a major sell-off. So it's real interesting to see what happens. It's actually going to be really interesting to see next week with some of the news. So I'm really curious to see how we move forward. So with that, now let's go ahead and pull in here real quick. We are seeing a bit of a rebound here with the world's market, and it's just real interesting to see how it all moves forward here. There we go. Apologize. And just to give you guys heads up, I might not be able to be here Friday afternoon. So we're gonna see what happens with the show and to find out what happens. So, but I'll let you know if we're able to do the show on Friday. Now let's go ahead and go into a couple other places here. 1 second. Come on. Come on. I got a lot of people emailing me right now, so not emailing me, but kind of talking about some stuff. So let's go ahead and go with the S&P 500 here. Right, we saw a major sell-off back into our demand zone here. It is kind of look like it's holding. We'll find out. Typically days like this, if it kind of goes sideways right here, instead of seeing a major rally, we probably will see another drop the next day, where we'll probably go down into our lower levels here. So this level here has been tested as a weekly zone, and it has been traded through. So if this does not continue, if today does not end even a little higher, if not even half, right? If we can't get above these levels here, we'll see another sell-off on Thursday down into these levels here, if not into Friday. So be ready for that, guys, because we definitely could see some major selling off here. In addition to that, we can point out here on the monthly chart that this level here, we can see that there were no real buyer wicks here, and we primarily had seller wicks where we came in first. So again, we're seeing more sellers on that monthly chart step in with a bigger seller wick, and you see that they defended this extremely well, and we're up into the 14th and 15th. So it's going to be really interesting to see. We went up first for the month, and now we're coming down. So that's typically not a good sign. That's why I'm more bearish down into our levels of that 38.17 to the 37.35 area here. Yeah, it's what I see what's going on. So that's why I'm definitely much more bearish than bullish at these levels. Let's go ahead and jump right into the NASDAQ. NASDAQ is pretty similar. What we're talking about, again, there wasn't major buyers coming in, and we definitely see more sellers stepping in at these levels. So we did almost come down into our daily levels here and weekly levels as well. Make sure now this is weekly. Let's pull up the weekly level here. So you can see here, guys. That's not weekly, that's daily. Here we are. Sometimes I put the wrong indicator or designator. The indicator designator myself. This is that weekly area that I'm looking at right here. So weekly and daily area. Like this is that line in the sand right here for me. So if it cuts below here, we're definitely coming down into these levels here. That's that 1118 mark, 1174 area here, guys. Be paying attention. Always, as you know, like I always bring up, guys, always look and wait for the retracement. They'll do a leg down, but then they'll always bring it up retrace just to fake people out, right? Because the initial part, when somebody drops off that initial drop, most institutions don't get enough of their orders filled, right? And so it's the first initial leg down, right? And then it will be shorted, or you'll have everybody shorting it, okay? And then what happens is the institutions, those shorts, they're buying, right? Because they're buying as it drops. And so as that's happening, so as it drops, the people like us, right? Because we can capture money. As it drops, boom, it comes through. Then we pull our shorts off. When you pull those shorts off, you need somebody to buy that. Well, guess who's buying it? Institutions. But the novices typically will let that keep going, and then they'll get stopped out. Typically up in these levels here, right? The pain is too much where they're just like, they think it's going to continue down versus it coming back and retracing into these levels here, right? That I always point out to you guys. So this is for me, just as a gauge for you guys on the initial drop. Make sure that you take your profits. Take your profits. Build your nest egg. As I was talking about my buddy today, right? Build the nest egg so you can keep trading. He who has money can keep trading. He who doesn't have money can't keep trading to trade for another day. Pardon me. I love this water. Any of you guys know of the owners? Or I could even, listen, I love what you guys do here. So if I can get a sponsor with them, that'd be great. All right. Or even just free water here. All right. So here we go. Let's go ahead and move forward. So, and with that, and as like I'm talking about here, and this is important to understand, right? If we see crude oil and into November, things start to get messed up as we move forward, you will see, and this is important to understand, money start to pull out more of the market. And as that happens, you need to make sure that we're understanding that we're going to see oil pull up, or we're going to see crude oil go up, which less money to go into the market, which then see things drop even more. So as that happens, what then correlates with that? Bitcoin, right? You know, Bitcoin is then going to start to drop. And when Bitcoin drops or Ethereum drops, what do we see? Everything else drop. That's really interesting to see the difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin, right? We're definitely seeing maybe a little unbalance. We're seeing Ethereum start to pick up and hold dominance within the crypto world, more so than what we've seen in the past. So it's really interesting, and especially that the fact that we are seeing the merge happening. I read over a couple articles yesterday, or I read over one article in particular, but I've read a few articles about this where institutions are looking to Ethereum because of um, what is it, ESG, or is it the economic governance, or the economics social governance, the ESG, right? That right there is huge. So it's going to be really interesting to see, is Ethereum going to take up, right? I know I've said this. I do think so. And I know the Bitcoin maxis don't want to hear this. But the reality is, look, you can either be like, and I'm not telling you to pull out, I'm just saying, be smart and diversify yourselves. Be smart, diversify money and put it into things, right? Like, I'm in traditional finance as well as I am into what? Crypto. Diversify yourself and be smart. So we do seek, I don't know if it's writing on the wall yet, but people are putting money into, and we can see it in the charts. We can jump right into it here real quick. Also, I want to go into real quick the dollar here. We saw a major push up in the dollar yesterday. Like I said, I was, and this is what, see, now this was supply. So, like I always talk to you guys, right? Supply becomes what? New demand, right? So we can see here that our supply in this level here definitely played off. Right, we definitely see this area here that I pointed out, right? Like, we're in this level and it did not give us any demand, but I wanted to leave these levels here because from an actual like standpoint, I see this more. So I wanted to leave this here for us. We did touch these levels yesterday and then we rallied back. And so this is an indication again, like I brought up yesterday, right? That there were no real buyers, or excuse me, no real sellers at these levels for the dollar, right? So the dollar is most likely going to go up. I honestly think the dollar will probably come back up to the 18, 17 mark, even up to, and I know people don't want to hear this, but the a dollar 27 for the dollar. This will cripple the world. Like, and again, like, I don't know how this is getting moved, um and then I think one of the things that's going to happen is, like I talked yesterday a little about, uh the petrodollar depegging. And if the petrodollar depegs, then we're talking just pandemonia. Like, um, yeah, it's going to be nuts if this stuff happens. And unfortunately, I do see it. I do see it in the charts. So I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that I'm wrong for this. So we'll see what happens here. But be paying attention here. Let me go ahead and see if I can put in a demand zone right here. This is actually something I could probably put in here right now. Let's go ahead. Is there a weekly? Yeah, there's a weekly here. So let's check out the month. Oh, let's go for that daily there. And I actually, right here. That's where I really want. I'm gonna plus this right here. Right in this area, guys. We'll see what happens if we come back and test this. So what I'm looking for is a new higher high, right? And then a retest of these levels here. Um, we do have that 8 period. Why isn't it that we have? It doesn't keep. Maybe I have too many lines, guys. On that weekly chart here, so we can sit here and see this. All right, give me 1 second. there we are. So I could only hope, right, that we do see a sell-off down into these levels here. One could hope, because if it does, then this, I think it would help rebalance the world. But we'll find out what happens. And I've got to sneeze here in a second, guys, so forgive me if I go mute here for just a moment. Pardon me. Sorry about that. All right, so here we go. I think it will come down into these levels, but only after it moves up into our levels here, which is basically 117, 118, which will be the first real test of these levels. And then from there, as we get into higher levels, we'll see if it holds. I think at these levels, the world won't be able to sustain the US dollar, and they will be looking to get into another area. To point this out, remember what Brian was talking about, the major manipulation of the markets within currency. It's just majorly manipulated. So this would behoove people who are looking to get into crypto now. A major play would be, and that's something to pay attention to see a downfall of the dollar transition into some central bank digital currency or even a cryptocurrency within itself, right? So it's going to be a really interesting thing to see what happens. Even a yuan digital dollar could even be, brought up. So we know that the ruble has been gaining value here and been moving. And I'm going to point out the ruble here as well. Give me 1 second. I believe this is it. Yeah, the Russian. Where's the ruble? I know I have the ruble here. There we are, ruble. It's definitely been an asset that has been doing very well, even in the midst of the Ukrainian war. We saw a big sell-off, right, obviously, but they've been actually really positioning, like I brought up, that test net of trade and the value of what's going on with them. So them playing around with what they're doing with cryptocurrency and blockchains and being able to continually export their crude oil throughout Western Europe is one of those things that we do see what's happening with this. So it's making them a stronger nation. And because America did put sanctions on it, and a lot of the world is saying, well, we need that oil. Sorry, forget you guys. Basically read between the fingers, right? That's basically what a lot of the world is doing. So it's going to be really interesting to see as we move forward here. You can also see their index as well. It was a major sell-off, but people are buying this index. You can see that it's moving up. And I don't see Russia going anywhere. I mean, if anything, they're making the right plays as a nation. So people are going through and buying. You can see here in the charts that their index is moving up, right? We see it very clear versus, right? Let's point this out, right? The U.S. dollar or the U.S. economy, right? We see pushing up, but we see major drops versus where theirs is at, which is sitting right here, right? Like they don't have major lows, right? They're not having lower lows, right? They're coming out, they sell, but look, you have major buy sitting in today, right? You see it's almost at the peak of yesterday. So this right here, so it's an interesting view what's actually going on with it. You're seeing more buyers and sellers stepping in. You're seeing buyers defend areas. We could see a sell-off here, but I think that sell-off will only just bring in more buyers within the Russian index here. I forget how to say it. I need to go through and figure out how to say these. I just look at the charts, but something to be paying attention to, right? As we move forward. Also, let's check out the dragon, which is the area here that I brought in a few weeks ago. This is basically China's index, right? That I'm looking at here. You can see here that we definitely came into our area here. We bounced out. We're hitting these major places, but we are definitely playing a ping pong aspect within China's index here. Making sure that as we're looking at these, and I promise I'll go into, this is all interrelated to crypto. And as we move forward, these are things that we need to be paying attention to. If, like, let's say 2, 3, 4 years from now, I hope I'm weird. I hope I'm the outlier and I'm the weirdo, and people look at me and laugh. And 5 to 10 years from now, I pray with all my heart that that's happened. They go, you know that Pedro guy, that crypto analyst guy? Yeah, he was so weird. He brought that up. What a nut job. I pray that that could be said. But what I'm seeing is, and this is important to see, right? That we're seeing buyers step in at these levels here with China. People are buying China's indices. They're coming in. And plus, we know that China's population is just a saving population. They innately save and want to invest into property. We know that because we saw it with Evergrande, which is still a major issues right now. But look, it doesn't pull away from the strength of the people, right? Whether you believe in the nation and what they do with human rights, that's which I totally disagree as well with. But the reality is this: is that they're a powerful nation. They really are. So they do run certain things well, and they do know how to handle. They think about the long-term effects, and America is up against the ropes right now regarding the way we are handling certain things. So I can only pray that I'm wrong. We also have a gap. I want to point out this gap here as well as a potential play. But we can see here, guys, that as we move forward, that people are buying these indexes. And as we come into these levels, we'll see what happens with them. We'll see what happens. So let's go ahead and move forward here into now crypto. So Bitcoin, as we're seeing within Bitcoin, we're definitely noticing that Bitcoin is having a bit of a sell-off for that week here. It's following the S&P 500, right? And so within this market, we do see on the daily, it's pretty much looking the same thing as the S&P 500. It's not showing much strength. Again, I want to point this out. There were no defense here. So we could definitely much see the defense. So I get a bunch of news stuff always popping in on my computer. So I'm always looking at that, seeing like popping news and things that actually might be kicking off. So that's when you see me pop my head like this. I have my camera right here. It's a big old camera here. So I want to make sure that I'm setting this here. So let's go ahead. Watch Guru. And I love Watch Guru. Average 30-year fixed mortgage rate in the U.S. increased to 6.24%, which is really cool. Jake Gagan. Hey, Lunac Army. What does the arrest of the Do Kwon mean for the future of Lunac? That is kind of wrong. Why would you even bring that up, Jake Gagan? I honestly, if they stay strong, it's really interesting to see some of these comments here. I don't think Kwon has much to do with Lunac. And this is what I brought up earlier. I also, and this is, I'm reading Jay Wink 73 on Jay Gagan's statement here. I also think through his arrogance, he may have conspired with someone to attempt to destroy Lunac C. Nothing in crypto surprises me. This is the honest to God truth, right? So it's really interesting to see what happens there. He could have shorted that. That's actually a good view. Crypto Coffee, it is going to be fine because he isn't a part of the recovery. It's just FUD from the sheer fact he was once with the project. That's another good thought to be able to think about, right? He's not really a part of it anymore. They have their own community. And I wonder if they're going to bring in a new CEO. I think they should. I think they should bring a new CEO and really see what's going to happen there, right? But we can see here with Bitcoin that it is going. I very much think we're coming back down to these lows because there wasn't any substantial fighting here. So it'll be really interesting to see if we go red today, right? We can see here right now we've been green, right? If we go red today, see how far it's going to go. I personally think we'll be coming down to here. I'm going to remove our weak zone here real quick, right? And play off of our other zones. All right, guys, so you can see here that we did definitely play off this level here. This is kind of that line in the sand that I brought up. We did trade below our area here. Like this is always what they do. They'll come in right below and then they'll push it back up, put in a lower high from here to here, and then do a sell-off into another demand zone, which is potentially that 17,000 mark here. Let's go ahead into the Ethereum. Now, Ethereum is unique because, and let me bring this up, they are lower, right, than here, but there is so much hype with this right now. We all know crypto hype is, like, look at Terra Luna, right? Like Lunic is nuts. It shouldn't even be working, yet it still is because of the community. So I'm going to bring this up because I look at this as an opportunity to, if we see a sell-off, with Ethereum, right? This area down in here, the 13,000 or the 1,300, and like I said, down in these levels here would not be bad. Not a bad place to play. Like I said earlier, is this going to be a situation where you bought the rumor and sold the news, right? Or sold the event? So it's going to be really interesting to see because this has been a huge push. Will this push down with Ethereum also cause another catastrophe with Bitcoin where it also sell off? I personally think that we might see a major sell-off with Ethereum as we launch tomorrow. I do, right? Again, if it does happen, that will definitely mean that the institutions are definitely involved. If we see something like that, what's going to happen is this is what I'll see. We'll see a temporary push up, right, as the launch, right, which will draw in all the lemmings. And then basically it's like a shark to blood. Those institutions will come in, take the other side, like we saw with Bitcoin launching on the CMC, right? Remember it literally, or not CMC, excuse me, CME, the Chicago Mercantile. We saw it was actually beautiful. We saw it go up, and then it dropped like a rock, like a sunk. Well, not like a sunk ship. That's bad. I shouldn't say that. It just dropped. Like the Titanic, man. It just was, what is going on? And I even told my friend, he's like, oh, it's going to be, I was Ubering at the time. And I told this guy, he refurbished his house. Not refurbished, he restructured, what do you call that? Refinanced his house, refurbished, that's funny. He refinanced his house and he literally put it all in Bitcoin, like at $15,000-$16,000. And I remember sitting him telling him, listen, like that, this isn't going. He thought he was going to go to $1 million. And I told him, I said, this baby's coming down at least to 10,000 and then coming down to 3,000, 4,000. And if ever you want to second guess me on that, you can call up a guy named Dave, or I can't bring up his name, I'll bring him on the show one day. Guy's very respected in his industry. He's very respected in his job. And I literally helped him call the whole entire movements to market. He asked me, the only thing I was wrong was I really thought that Bitcoin was going to come all the way down to 2,500, 2,300. And he was looking to buy around those ranges. And it was my fault. It stayed about that 3,000 mark, like I told him. It kept going from 5,000 to 10,000. It's going to go around. I go, no, it's coming back down. It will come back down. So I say that because let's talk Ethereum. If we see Ethereum tomorrow, okay, rally up a little, and then we see a sell off hard, that means institutions are playing in our game immensely, and that they're looking for buyers because they're the ones that are buying or shorting the actual system. And so I want you to pay attention to that as the launch happens. Okay, we'll find out what happens here, but it's going to be really interesting to see as we move forward tomorrow. Or I guess I think it's later today, right? Something like that. I need to see the actual time and date that we're actually going to launch the merge and go from a test net to an actual real system. So real interesting times here. So pay attention to that, guys, here. The other thing I want to bring up is the fact is that we are selling off today, and I want to give you the other side, right? In case if it does push up, okay? If we see Ethereum drop tomorrow first, right, instead of push up, and we see it come down into some of our levels that looks something similar to this right here, right? We could see a huge red candle, okay, and then a rally back up the next day. I would not call it a dead cat bounce because at these levels here, it would still be a higher low, right? And so you would actually go through, test a higher low, and then it'd be a simple rally back up into higher levels and create a new higher high. So just depends on what we're going to see in the market tomorrow. Something to be playing mindful of, okay? But we will be hitting higher time frame SMAs. You can see here at this level that we have the 20 and the 8 sitting right here. Okay, so it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays here. Be mindful, be looking at these SMAs here. Okay, because this very much could be, it's going to be nuts tomorrow. Nuts. Anyways, all right, or today, later today. So depending on where you're at in the world. Okay. And let's go into Bitcoin or BNB here. BNB is pretty similar to what we're seeing with the other markets. Again, I still feel like it's stronger than a lot of the other markets here. They're just, I think they're a juggernaut and a smart company the way they handle business. They did come down to our areas here. Let's put in, I'm going to take this out here. We can see here that we're still kind of playing in this range here. And we are ping-ponging off of the 8 moving average as well as the 20 moving average on that weekly here. So be mindful there, guys. We're down into demand here. And so we could see a rally from here to push up for BNB into higher levels up in here. So we'll see what happens here. Let's go into AVAX here. And also, guys, I see a few of you guys are watching. If you could like and subscribe to me on, I see a few of you guys are at the Moonrock TV, and one guy is at the, watching me on our Twitch. Please like, subscribe, post me on other social medias, if you will, so that other people can have some of this content here and be able to kind of push out Moonrock as we move forward here. I'd appreciate that. Even just hit the little like, just for the algorithms. Boom. Just all you gotta do is tappity tap tap. Just like, don't you want to go to your home? Tappity tap tap. You know, little Happy Gilmore there reference there. Don't you want to go to your home? Don't you want to go to your home? Right? And if any of you guys remember, I'm Happy Gilmore or Price is Wrong, Bob. That would be a guy that I would love to have on the show. I would love, that would be a riot. Such a riot to have Adam Sandler here. I might take a 10-15 minute break here as we keep moving forward. We'll find out what happens. Drink this coffee here, and coffee's doing what the coffee normally does. So we'll jump right into this here real quick. Also, if you don't mind, jump on to my what's it called, in LinkedIn profile, if you don't mind, and see if you guys will like that as well. I'll post that in the actual chat. That'd be cool if you guys just like that as well and share that on your guys' LinkedIn stuff, just so that other people can see what I'm doing. Thank you if you do. I would do appreciate that. Let me jump right into here. I do give quality analysis here. And so to sit there and give that to other people, I think would be a help, especially if they're a macro view, like a week, a daily, weekly, and a monthly view. I do give really, like you see, strong analysis. When it comes to the day trading, again, I don't touch much of that right now, just simply because, well, Moonrock will be offering that to a lot of its constituents through an NFT project, or depending on how we're going to do that. So that comes down the road here. I'm also partnering with a few other organizations where we will probably be offering some of that from like a day trading standpoint of what to look at and how to be trading certain things. So, but that's down the road, and we'll see what happens there. Let's go ahead now, go into our big old friend here. Come on. Why is it- There you are. There we go. There we are. Give me a second. I don't know why that is not wanting to work. There you are. Okay, perfect. So the reason why I want to bring this up is I wanted to show you some of the stuff that we're going to be going over as well, guys. Sit there and see it. Uh, that's not good. I hope that doesn't come off this way. Yep, it did. That stinks. That is not what I was looking for it to do. Forgive me for that. Let me post in here real quick. I do not know what. Oh, pardon me. There we go. Here we are. Another guy that I actually really like a lot is Elliott Trades Crypto. He does a really good job just giving an overview of what's going on at current status, the market, just kind of give you just good information and checking things out. I really like him a lot. He just does a good job when it comes to simply going through and checking things out. I really like him. Elliott Trades, you can find him on or Elliott Trades Crypto. He looks like this. I'm going to point this out. He just got married too. So congratulations on his marriage, guys. It's always a shout out. I think it's always good when a young man gets married at a young age and is able to build a family. So like, so I love this dude. Congratulations to him. So yeah, this is who he is. You can find him. He does have a check mark. Elliott Trades Crypto. Cool thing. So check him out, guys. Let me go ahead and move forward here. Apologize about that. Come on, come on, let's go. There we go. All right, guys, let's jump right into here now. This should not have done this, but I've got to just do this now. So, we're gonna go into Solana or ADA. Let's first hit up XRP so we can move forward here. XRP. XRP is looking at a nice little junctional area. It did hit our area here. We'll see if we do move up. I doubt it. I do think as we are going to push through here, we are starting to put in that seller wick here. We went up first. Now we're kind of be swinging down. It's similar to the S&P 500. Like I said, guys, I am definitely bearish when it comes to down into this level. But from an actual macro view, I'm very much bullish when it comes to XRP. I know Brian talked about how they were the sacrificial lamb, but I feel like they do have money. I do think that they are going to be smart in what they're doing. So we'll see what happens. I think they'll be able to do a capital raise and really do push out what they're doing now and really garner. They have such a great community and it's a really strong community. So I feel like XRP would be able to do a capital raise and have more money for just new development. So good luck with you guys. But like I said, I do see them from the charting perspective coming down to a lower level up in here. We are in a consolidation period right here. But when you look at that daily mark, it's just this. It's not a lot, right? So I do see more more of a selling pressure back at the lows here. Let's go ahead and go into EDA. ADA. I don't know who did it, but I appreciate you guys liking and subscribing for checking it out. Let's go ahead and look at these levels here. And I think this is important to look at on Cardano. Whereas the rest of the market is kind of having to have a smaller push up, we're seeing Cardano really push up here. So, and it didn't even really come down to our weak level here. It came down and just kind of pushed back up. So again, to me, that just shows strength. And where did our weekly 20 go? See what I'm saying, my peoples? Look, this is like disappears. Like, how did that happen? I just don't understand how like some of my stuff just disappears or no longer there. Or because y'all saw me, yesterday I was talking about this. So, anyways, so we were definitely playing around that. Coming down to this level. The only issue, though, and again, you'll always hear me say this, guys. I didn't see any defense of buyers. We did not come down into these levels. So I'm more hesitant to call it a long here and push up, simply because we're sitting below the moving averages, right, on the weekly, and the majority of them on the daily, and we don't see any major wicks here. I don't see any defense against the sellers. So to me, it looks more bearish on these levels because I can see it's coming back down to the 43, 41 mark. Again, even lower than that because this area has already been hit. So this would go further into that 39, 30, or the 40, 39 area. So be mindful of that, guys. Both ends, be ready for both plays there. Let's go into from XRP. Solana is now, or ADA. 80A, Solana. Solana, similar pattern that we're seeing. It's actually coming down into our level here. Again, we're seeing tapping off that 20-period moving average, but it is not trending here. It's just it looks like a short-term pause before we go through this area. We'll find out what happens tonight or tomorrow. Pretty positive because of the amount of sell pressure here. We are coming down again to these lower levels, just simply because it's nothing really here. Literally, there's no real levels at these levels here. It's down in here, the 18.5, 18.10 mark. So we'll find out what happens there. Again, let's pull up that weekly just to make sure I'm moving up there the same. The monthly here. Boom. Weekly. That daily should not be visible. Let me move that down here. There it is. So, yeah, where's our weekly here? Weekly chart, come on. And then our 200-period moving average on the weekly is there we are. Okay, I was wondering where these were at, sitting at. Give me 1 second. We have the 200 right on the weekly. We have that 50 right here. There we are. So yeah, guys, check this out. I do see us again, like I said, once we get past this weak area here, the next spot is down in this level here because we, like I said, no defense on this weekly chart here. It's already tapped this zone, and this zone is literally a reaction of these zones right here. So again, that's why I feel as if the next real level is either down in that 18 mark, and even this 18 mark is still, like you can see, we tapped into this level. So this is going to be really interesting to see then if the next leg down on Solana would be down at these $10 mark, or excuse me, $9 mark as we come down. I know people don't want to hear this, but hey, I want you to make money and and keep it. So be paying attention to that. Again, we came up, tested our 8-period moving average. Now we're having a sell off here. Going into the dot community here, polka dot. Here we are. We're still came up, tested that. You can see here that we did push off. You can see here that we are below all the moving averages. Probably going to come up, test that 8-period moving average on that daily. Let's check into more of a 4-hour chart here. See if we are going to be trending down. Yep, we're already trending down, so we can already see it starting to step in and come down. I would have loved to see more of a seller wick step in, but again, we'll find out there what it decides it wants to do. But I do see polka dot again, just it's weak. So we see here a lot more sell pressure versus buy pressure at these levels. I would be ready right now. Things kind of stand, hold, or stand by to hold, to stand by and hold at the same time. There you go. Stand hold. Pedro coined word. It's in a place of stand hold here. So it's like almost like in the military when they wait a minute and what is it? Wait a minute, hold, or wait a minute, stand here. When they would tell you to get here, you always had to be there 15 minutes early, and then you would just wait, and rest position as you had to do something. So just to throw that out there, those who are in the ex-military, hoorah! Appreciate you guys, hoorah! And was it hoorah? I forget them all. I was in the U.S. Coast Guard, so I did that for 10 years or 9.5 years. I got out and then decided to kind of get into trade and stuff like that. So it was really interesting. Did a few odd jobs in here where I did door knocking as well as sales as an insurance and things of that nature. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, so we're seeing here that we're going to be pushing down into this level on dot. I see it. I see it's down at the 620. I know we've talked about this a few times now, but I know we have higher highs and higher lows, but we're seeing seller pressure step in at some high levels with defense of these higher levels with the sell wicks. So it's been really interesting to see what happens here. Let's go ahead and go into Doge here real quick. Doge here looks pretty much the same. We did push through these areas here, and we're coming down into the 5-cent mark. Be ready, guys. You saw here that we did have a ton of sell pressure and jump in here as the market dropped here. So be looking for these lower levels of the 5.5, 5.4 area, even into these 4.99 area here. So be ready. I do see here that when we do have that 50-period moving average on the monthly here, right? And so it's important to pay attention to. So making sure that you know where we're sitting at. We also have that 200-period moving average, and we also have the weekly 20 coming down even to a further level. So we do have some major resistance coming up into this level. The only saving grace here is just the fact is that you did see buyers defend its area here, but even then, as you can see that we're starting to trade right through this area to finish off the week. So we'll see what happens there. But I am very much bearish on these levels. Always wait for a retracement into these levels. You can see here retracing into the weekly 8 and 20. Well, not weekly, but daily 8 and 20. So always wait for that retracement to make sure that your risk is at a low level, right? So you can have some defense. Whether you use Fibonacci or other systems as well as your risk measurements. All right, let's go ahead and go next into Matic. Matic is sitting right here at these levels. I do like this. Just the fact is that it did hold here strong, but I don't like the fact that it just looks like everything. I was hoping that this would have stayed up here and then continued, but it's obviously not. So we'll find out if it pushes through. We are tapping that 20 period moving average here and looking like for the sell off there. So that's something to be mindful. Let's check out that weekly chart here. Like I said, we're doing a little ping pong shop. So if we do a sell off, it does sell off. Look for it to finish off probably down at these levels of the 74.23 area for the week. We could see a major sell off from Matic at these levels. If it does, be ready to buy that. That'd be a nice little boost. If it decides to sell off even further, be looking for the 67 mark. And if we do see even go further than that, look to see. That is a weekly chart. That's really interesting. Why is that only done? I think I've moved to that before already. There we are. So just these little things, wait for it. You can see how we ping pong from here all the way up to here over the last week or two. We did have a buyback or a defense against this level, but it's not green, and I need to see a green candle on that to really give a substantial push or defense. So I still am bearish down into these levels here until we find new buyers at these levels. Let me put in this level here as well as I'm looking at it. Here we are. Next one, here we are from Matic. Let's go to SHIB. Here we are at SHIB. SHIB is looking nice here. You can see that we tapped this area right in here sooner or later. So like I said the other day, I'm definitely bearish on SHIB, at least down into our levels of the 89 area to that 100. I made it pretty clear yesterday, like we could see this very much drop all the way down into these levels. If we do rally from these levels, be ready for it to bounce back up into the daily 8 period moving average as well as that weekly 20, right? Boom, pop, and further down, right? So be ready for that, guys. If we do push up, though, which I really doubt, we'll be coming down. We'll be coming up into these levels here on that daily chart. Actually, we very much could push all the way back, all the way up into this 200 period moving average, which is what we touched here and pushed down. So as this continues down, so like from here, if this level holds and we see consolidate and start to push higher highs, probably going to be coming up into these levels, at least to the 200 period moving average on that day, which is typically a weekly level. Give me 1 second. Is there? Yeah, which is we also have that 820 or excuse me, the 8 on the monthly level here. So let's move this 20 down into these levels here. And that pushes back to that. There we are. All right, so guys, you can see here and see that how that works here. Yeah, that 200 period moving average here is a pretty strong indicator here of downward pressure. We're definitely below these highs here. So if it does come back, tap into this, we have some real resistance stepping in. Real resistance. 1, 2, 3. On top of that, you also have the moving average sitting here with that monthly 8 moving average into this. So yeah, I would see us maybe pop back up into that 1600 mark, but it's going to have a hard time getting through this area as we continue down. Only saving grace here is that it's actually sitting at that 100 moving average, and it's pushing up. It's trying to lick the bottom of the candle here, so that's a good sign of maybe some upwards pressure. But again, I'm still bearish all the way down into our levels down in here. What I've talked about, definitely a buyer down at the 1,000, 900, 800, 600 mark here. Let's go ahead and go further after Shiba, Tron here. And hopefully I'm not boring you guys. If you guys could, just throw a comment in there and just let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the, I'd love to see and hear, because this will, this brings some engagement into me. Also, let me know of a couple other coins you want me to check, as well as micro coins. Give me the address so I can pull it up either on PooCoin or Dex Tools and kind of give you guys some stuff. So let me know. Holler at me. Holler at your boy, my peoples. It's supposed to be an interactive thing where I can sit there and look at things that you guys want me to look at as well. So even if it's just a silly one, even if it's just launch, send me something here. I know y'all are out there. And so talk to me, Goose. Talk to me. All right, here we go. We got Matic Ship. We got Tron here. So we got Tron. TRX. TRX here, you can see here that we tapped this up in here at that weekly. Is the monthly still down here? Yeah, we have that monthly. Check out that weekly area here. Definitely tapping that weekly 8 moving average here. There we are. To the 8. So that's what just happened there. Oh, that's weird. I just don't know what happened. Okay. And now it is. Sometimes it just gets frustrating. I don't even understand what just happened. And how do we merge this? I thought this would merge. So let's see if this changes here. Anybody knows how to fix this, guys? That would be great if y'all could comment. I don't even know what happened here. I just might have to set this all up again. Boom. All right, I don't know what happened. I'm just gonna have to rebuild that here in just a second, guys. Give me one moment. Um, averages to volume. Click this here. We'll just go here and do this. There we are. And then we'll go into yellow. 200. There we are. There we are. And then the next one. Give me a second. So that's going to be. It's going to be 8. Come on, Brand, work for me. 89. All right, so that should put this up here, and I think we are good here. Okay. Let's call this. We're just gonna call this. What do we want to call this? Daily charts. I apologize about this, guys. I'm going to go through, I'm going to put a 5-minute wait on this, guys. I need to use the bathroom here real quick. I've been at this for a while now, so I'm going to use the bathroom here real quick. I will be back. I'm going to put a 5-minute, actually give me 10-minute, and I will put a pause on this and restart this when we're ready. All right, guys. So I'm going to put 10-minute counter. Come back, enjoy. It'd be great if y'all could actually interact with me up in this place. It would be awesome. Instead of me talking, that'd be cool. I know the majority of you guys are moon rockers, so that would be cool as well. Let me go ahead. It's up here and just count it. So I'll be back in a minute, guys. I'll be back and I will talk to you guys in a few. Bye. Hey guys, thanks for waiting. I appreciate that. I just had to handle some business here real quick. Let's go ahead. Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for waiting. I apologize about that. Just wanted to pop in here and say, hey, how you doing? Let's go ahead and get going into whatever is left here. So it'd be nice. Um, Here we are. I had to set up. I had to reestablish my charts here. They kind of decided they want to do their own thing there, and I was like, what is going on with y'all? So took care of that. Now let's go ahead and get moving. I apologize for the hiccups. Let's check out Tron. So Tron is definitely sitting at these levels where we tap that 8-period moving average. Now we are definitely moving down. I do see us, like I said, guys, there is no real, and here's the other part, is paying attention. There is no, like, we have a bit of a seller wick here. So if this thing does come up from rally, I do see the selling off, but also there are no real buyer wicks down in this area here. And in this level, we've already traded through this area here. So the next real portion of this is down into these levels of the 4 cent, 8 cent, or excuse me, the 4.8, the 4 cent area, 3 cent area is next. All right. Let's go ahead and go next into the, from Tron, we're checking out AVAX here real quick. AVAX again. Hey, at least give me a hello. If y'all listen to me, give me a hello out there. Say what's up. Even if it's just say, hey, how you doing? How you doing? That would be nice. Something at least. So I don't think I'm talking to myself there. Boom, boom, boom. And those who are listening to me on my own station here, give me hey, what's up too. That would be nice. Here we go. Now, this is important to understand that as we come down into these levels here, right, for AVAX, we've already tested this. We put in a lower high. We hit that weekly moving average down in these levels. And so now we're going to be pushing down into this lower area here. So many times, like I always tell you guys, when we come down into this area, right, it'll tap through, put in a lower high, or excuse me, a lower low, push up, come back, retest, and then typically sell off into these lower levels, especially on that weekly chart. That's typically what we'll look. You can see here that that's exactly what we did here. We sold off, came back, retested into a either demand or supply zone, and then with a typically there will be some type of moving average, and then sell off to a further level. So there's going to be no difference here. We'll see a sell off, come back, retest into some type of demand, some type of supply on the daily, and then sell off even further. Right, that's super important to look at. Next, let's go ahead and go into the from AVAX to Uniswap. Uniswap, similar to what we're seeing with all the other stuff. As I've already talked to you guys about this, probably ad nauseum. Also, give me a like, subscribe, something of that nature, if that would be cool. We'll see here with Uniswap that will come test this area here of the 8, or excuse me, of the 20-period moving average. And we'll probably see another sell off into these lower levels here. Just simply because it's just, we've already tested this area here with no real conviction of buyers, right? And so I just see us selling off even further into these levels. We'll go into that daily chart here. Again, nothing at this level. We're going down, we're continuing down here. Get ready for the retestment of that 8 as well as that weekly 20. You can see here as it's come back and retested this, we should see another sell off or another leg down. Let's go into the Uni to Leo. Leo, like I said, guys, to you, we did see a sell-off at these levels here, um, right down into our weekly 50 period moving average. Like I said, I don't see us. I knew we were going to do a bounce off at this level here. It's a dynamic level, and it's definitely moving at least to, we'll see, come back and retest maybe that 8 period on the daily or the weekly 8 here, and then see another sell off, and if not further. If this does bounce off and continue, then from here we will see it, like we see it kind of come. If we see it continue down a little, and then push back up, we, like I said, those the 200, or excuse me, the 20 period weekly and the 8 weekly are sitting right at these levels here. So we could see another retracement back up into these levels on a higher level. So be ready for that, guys. Let's go ahead and go into and when I say that, I mean looking at price levels of $5.18, but I'm more bearish when it comes to this level. So be ready for maybe another test of this 8 and then a sell off through here. But hopefully you guys were able to capture part of this trade down into the 50 period moving average. And the next one from Leo to Litecoin. Like I said, guys, we were ping-ponging off of that weekly 8 period, or the weekly 8, the weekly 20, as we're going back and forth. It's interesting to see Litecoin putting in on a weekly something different than Bitcoin, right? Like you can see here, Bitcoin right here, it looks like this, whereas Litecoin looks a bit like this. So I'm kind of shocked that actually happened. So I'm waiting. But the biggest thing is this: is that big wick where sellers defended this area here strongly, and now they have a big wick here. So this looks really unique. I do see, as you can see here, a lot more sellers did step in at these levels, especially yesterday with conviction. So again, I do see it's coming back down here, even though this did put in a higher high. It didn't close above the higher high here. So again, for me, I look at that going, this is at a lower level here. Definitely at a lower level. Here we are. Let's go to the next one, from Litecoin to Cosmo. Let's look this up real quick. Nice little, guys. This, you can see this was nice for Cosmo. We saw this sell off down into our levels here on that weekly area. We're coming down into this level. So be ready to take profit at these levels here. I did say make sure that we take the first profit down at these levels of the $14 mark. Next level, be looking at that 20 period moving average on that daily for your second target. And be looking again for that 50. Now the 50 is going to be the 8 period moving average on that weekly. So I do see us coming down into these levels of that junctional point. We will see a response at these levels. This is not going to easily go through here. So if you want to take your short off at these levels and be looking to go long, maybe back up to your retracement on that monthly 8 moving average, that's something for you to be paying attention to. So it's just be paying attention to that, because that's a nice little area here that you can capture that up and down movement as we move forward. You saw here, and I want to point this out, we are seeing a sell-off. We are seeing a sell-off, and we are seeing conviction, but not as much as we saw for buying up here. But again, these are these areas here that we're looking to see it come down to for Cosmo. Right, it is showing strength. We are seeing movement down. I think the true buyers are down in these levels here. We have that 20 period moving average along with that. This should not be the 20. Why is that there? This is the 20 here. This should be, let me find what's going on here. 89. All right, I was wondering, I was like, that is not the correct. Here we are. So that, we have the 89 and the 100 period moving average all sitting in here. So we could see major buyers stepping here at the $11, $10 mark. I would be looking for more buyers at these levels here. But after this, if this doesn't hold, we're coming down to Chinatown over here. And that's $6.40 or $6.41. I mean, to this level. And additionally to it, also be looking for this to actually, at those levels, to see some major buying step in for Cosmo. It's a good protocol. They got a lot of good stuff going on there. So, like, be ready for that, you know. And this could be a really good buying opportunity at these levels of the $6, $3, and the $1 mark. I know you guys wouldn't even want to hear about it, but I do see it. I do see this happening coming down into these levels here. Then from there, let's go into AVAX links. Links here. We'll go to link. From a weekly chart, you can see here again, like I said to you guys, as we're ping-ponging off these weekly, as well as the monthly. The monthly did come, you can see we did try to touch it. We did sell off here. As you see here on that daily, the daily, like I brought up, we were going to at least come down into these lower levels here. I was more thinking at the $6 mark here, the 646, 637 area where you can capture the short. As you're seeing here, we are seeing we did come below here, guys, at this little wick here. So we did come down below the little wick, came back, touched this daily 8 moving average, and I'm not bullish, I'm bearish on this. Just simply because we're not seeing a ton of conviction of the buyers. They didn't sell. We didn't see a sell-off and then a pull back, right? Which didn't indicate to me that we're going to continue higher. What we saw is a little bit of a sell-off, stopping people out, pushing it up, bringing in the buyers, right? And then you're going to see the sellers step in, which is the institutions, and continue it down. So be ready for that. Look for the retracement back up to that 8 period moving average and a continuation down into these lower levels here, guys, of that 446, 690 area. Let's go ahead and go into near. As you guys can see here, we did trying to bounce off of that weekly 8 period moving after. I think we even hit it. It looks like, yeah, we hit it. We tapped it. Now we're actually ping-ponging in between that weekly and daily SMA. I don't see a lot of conviction in the buyers stepping in here. So I do see it's coming back down to these, literally down into the $3, $3.40, 322 area here, guys. This is definitely one of those things I do see. Only difference is right here is that we don't see a lot of conviction up in here for the sellers as well. So maybe they're putting in an area where they are putting in, because still even at these levels, we're at lower or we're at higher lows. So for me, I can sit there and gauge, you know, this is probably going to pull back up from here to move up because of, I don't see any seller pressure right here. I don't see any wicks. So near potentially could have a short-term rally once it comes down into our lower levels here. Let's go ahead and pull up real quick that monthly. Oh yeah, if by next, we could see a consolidation period, and then next month, once we see the 8 and 20 crossover, I could see just a huge sell-off down into our area here. If not, right even in this level. And for your holders on near, this is a potential buy at these levels here. Definitely maybe at this, and this is a monthly level here. Let's check out the daily, weekly. Yeah. Another level here. All right. So let's go into the next after near FTT. Yeah, we came and touched this level right here last night, yesterday, guys, like we were talking about, right? Definitely hit this level. We're hitting that 50 period moving average coming into our zone here. I think I did bring up, I need to go back and see for FTT, but I remember, like I said, we did have some conviction buying here, but man, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. I said we're going to come up and hit this 50 period moving average, wait for a sell off, and then you can see this exactly what it did. We just dropped down into these levels, so came into this area here, but obviously this area here is not holding strong. So be ready for FTT to maybe have some type of reaction here at the 23 mark area. But really, don't need the 2190. Give me 1 second here. 2190. Yeah, guys. So I would. That's 21. That's 2190 maybe area. $21.90, and I think I have this as a weekly zone, right? Yeah, this is a weekly zone right in this area here. So yeah, guys, FTT here, this baby coming down here, at least the 2690, or excuse me, 2069 down to the $18 mark. And after that, guys, we're seeing this baby probably come down to $11 mark as well if we do another sell off, another leg down with Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens there. Let's go ahead and go down to Crow. Here we are, Crow. All right, so Crow here, like I said, guys, I'm definitely more bearish here, but long-term bullish with Crow. I do like Crow. I think Crow is a great blockchain. I think they're doing phenomenal things. And so, and they're primarily focusing really on more of the finance side of crypto. And I think they're going to be, overall, I think they're going to be, they're business minded. They're savvy in how they want to think. I think they might be spending a little too much money, just to quote a couple of the other guys out there. But still, again, we did come down into our levels here. Like I said, I brought this up, that there was no conviction here, right? And that they come down into these levels here is something that we're going to see. At this, if we don't see much by the end of the day where we stop tomorrow, Thursday, we're going to see another leg down on Crow, at least down into our 10-cent mark area that we've been talking about. All right, guys, so be ready for that so that you can take advantage of that as we go lower. If it continues even harder, which I don't think we will come down into this level, but if we do see this come down, then be looking, and let's pull it up on coin market cap here. Come on. This is really important, right? Because if this does start to really pick up speed, right, you're going to be picking up Crow for 7 cents, 6 cents. So something to be mindful of, guys, because these are levels that, generational levels. Let's pull this up here real quick. Here we are. Boom. Here we go. Boom. 7. So right here, the first level. Let's check this out here real quick. Here we are, first level right here. Second level here, and this is important, right, for especially Crow. I'm looking for a strong 5 cents. This is one. Came through, or traded through. Traded through. Traded through. Man, that would be, man, look at this right here. 5 cent mark here. And then let's go into these other lower levels. I do not think many people would like to see it go lower than this, because from here, it's literally straight down. Let's pull up let's see if we can pull weekly. See if that weekly is going to look prettier than that. No, it doesn't. Trade it. Maybe right here at the 10-cent mark that we have on our chart. But after this, even this is, I mean, yeah, it's just, I can see this right here. This is a spot. We can see a position here to be stepped in. So I'm just gonna, yeah, definitely. So this would be another area that might be small. That'd be nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's transpose this into, here we are. So we're going to move this from the 10, and our next spot is going to be, let's go ahead, it's going to be 8. So we're just simply going to put in at these levels where these are daily levels here first. So it's going to be going to be 8, 4. And the next one is going to be, and this is actually how you transpose, because you want to find the nearest data, right? The closest data to it. So you want to be able to find those, the correct levels there. 785 for that daily there. Make sure that I have it correctly. Actually, I'm going to have to move that down even further. We have to 805. We're going to move this to 805. You guys are seeing the work put in right here, man. See what I do. And then the next one is going to be the 625, which is going to be the month or the weekly. The monthly is even uglier. I don't think you guys can handle that. Most people can't handle it, especially if they're involved in these coins. I remember when I was telling, I'd be doing this on Moonrock live, right? Kind of like, and they'd be able to ask me questions, what to look at. And every time I would bring up certain lower levels, it was like I was screaming at them. They couldn't handle it. It was just like, what? So you learn to be a little, you need to be, gentle with people. People got a lot of money in this stuff. So it hurts to think like, wow, what was that, 625, and this is going to be 5 next. 590. Next one is going to be the daily again. So it's going to be here. 538 mark. It's interesting. I was thinking about this the other day. Like, so you guys know that a lot of my levels hold pretty strong and go to those areas, right? So I was thinking, as this YouTube channel keeps growing and moving forward, itself, maybe institutions might be going through and trading off of my zones. And I know that sounds just weird, but like, let's say I get Garner. I know I only have 30 something subscribers now, but down the road, let's say it gets down to a couple 100,000, right? Where I have these bunch of people following us. I would actually have to go through and actually do a private Discord or something of that nature, that where I can make sure that our levels are secure, right? I would actually probably do a background check on people who do come in, because if you work for any type of institution, I would not want you to be paying attention to me, just because I want my people to actually have a advantage, right? 0. As of right now, I'm nobody, so it doesn't mean anything. But who knows? You never know. God uses small beginnings, right? So never discount a small baby. So we'll see. But anyways, I'm being a little silly. But you guys, we can see here though on the daily, we aren't seeing much conviction. And the next level is that $10 mark area. So be ready to purchase things at these levels. All right, let's check out the next one. XMR. Where are you at? XMR. Monero. So Monero is actually used in a potential scam where a guy, I forget what he scammed. It was a major scam, but he put his stuff into Monero, and it's been really hard to track. But they think they found the scammer who basically went through and was able to kind of pull money out. So it's going to be really interesting to find this guy. But Monero is showing strength off of our 89 and our 100 period moving average, but we are testing that 20 period moving average. And to add on to that, we have these other levels up in here. So we could come up to see it retest our moving averages here, which is sitting at the 150. But I'm still very much bearish on this, simply because I feel like there isn't anything really holding it up here until we get down to these levels of the 135 to the 129 area. If it does drop, we're going to see this thing come back, retest, and then continue down. I feel like this is the line in the sand right at this level here. So we'll find out if it does continue. But I don't think Monero is going to hold it just simply because it touches the 8-period moving average on that monthly and just sold off. Now, granted, we are going sideways here. We just see it go sideways. But if this starts to push down, we're going to see that the 8 on the monthly continue down. So, and I do see downwards pressure stepping in on the charts. The fact is that there's not a huge conviction of buyers sitting here. So we'll find out what happens, but we'll be an indicator of what's going to be moving forward here. Let's go ahead and actually, no, let me phrase that. We do see conviction of buyers coming in right here, but it's not pushing the chart up. So I don't understand why we would see something like this. We'll find out. Maybe they're sleepers. We'll see what's up. But again, this 137 area mark is an area where I feel we will see some type of bounce. But after this, we're coming down to the 127 mark here. Here we are at the next level, XMR, which is going to be XLM. XLM looks the same as we've seen with all the other ones, guys. See here that we have a sell-off. It's not holding. Pardon me. Sorry about that, guys. So you can see here that we hit these levels. We are not putting much in, and we are seeing this continue down now with the XLM for Stellar. We did trade through this area here. So the next level that we really do see is down into our 7-cent mark area from the 10-cent mark. If we do start to push down through this area, guys, remember, be ready for the retracement back up into these moving average as they continue down, and then for the leg down. But I do see us really coming up, tapping this 20-period moving average, which we pretty much have here, and continue down. Let's see. So we have any convection in either direction. So test. It's kind of even. So it'll be real interesting to see what's happening here. As it's moving up, we're not putting much of seller, but we are putting buyer wicks, right? So this actually could see a rally back up into these levels, but we are hitting this 200-period moving average, or we're playing off that, which is basically the 4-hour 8. So you can see here that on the 4-hour, it is putting in these seller and buyer wicks here. But it is following the 8-period moving average. So it's interesting to see that we're going to probably hit that and then drop off. You can see here on that 4-hour that we definitely have a decreasing of volume here. So it'll be interesting to see if we do see a rally, but it is pushing up into this level. We are at a higher time frame SMA, or excuse me, higher time frame demand zone. So I do see some form of support coming in, but not enough to where we can really see a substantial rally. We'll have to see what happens throughout the week. Next is going to go into XLM to algo. Algo play, as you guys can see here, we definitely hit this 4-hour period moving average here. We are putting in buyers stepping in with conviction. The only issue is that it's not, I don't think it's enough really to play off of from yesterday. It's almost like a dead cat bounce, and we are coming and retapping the 8 and the 89 moving average here. So this again, I do see is coming back down into these lower levels, which sit right in here at the, oh, what just happened? S&P 500, I don't know what happened there. XLM, algo. Algo, we're stepping into this area right here. Like I said, be ready for the retracement of the 20 and or 8. So as long as if you're going to take that short, you want to see a trending of whatever trending mechanism that you use for your indicator to continue down through this area here. This bounce up is again another thing like I bring up. If we don't see more volume step in, this is continuing down to the leg down, all the way down into the 23, 20, 24, 23 area here. Next is flow. Flow is real interesting. Simply, we did sell off into this area that we were talking about. Yes. I don't have any demand and supply zones here. That's interesting. Let's go ahead real quick. We'll go to the weekly. There we are. Next 1 second. 50. Where's this going to be? 3. And then we're going to go into the daily here. Let's go to weekly. Simple moving averages are put in. You can see that where it's tested. So we did test this little wick right here. You can see there is a lot of sellers sitting at these levels here. So after these levels here, guys, the next level, literally where we can see some substantial move, is down at the 116 here. $116, boom. Yeah, guys, so here you go. You can check it out right here. This is where we're sitting. honestly, I see is honestly coming down to the 117 area, um, 117 to this 38 cent. But this is a clear shot as where money is going to be. This is where the money is sitting at right now. Hopefully that flow will last. We'll see. Let's put in maybe some. This is 8 weeks. I'm not sure. Yep. Check this out here real quick. This is a reaction after this. So after this, then the next real spot is up here. Short. Yeah, guys, so you can see here we have the F50 period moving average sitting on this weekly within the zone. We'll see what happens here. I really doubt it that we'll see this come up here anytime soon, but because of the lack of seller or buyer conviction here, I do see us coming through down into these levels here on flow. Flow master. Here we are. You can even see here, right? Like you had a major volume coming in, and then last week you even had less volume stepping in. So this is where we're already above, and we're in the middle of the week for this, for today's, or for this week's sell-off. So I do see us coming down to the 177 from the 213 mark here for flow. Flow master. Here we go, guys. Next one, we're going to hit up Lunic. I think we went over Lunic a little bit, but here we are. Like I said, guys, I'm definitely more of a Luna player down in these levels here. Be ready for a sell-off. Interesting enough, we did come back and retest this 8. Now we're selling down through the 20-period moving average. I'm very short term down in these levels here where I think the community will most likely step in and really hit it. I think they need to find a new CEO and a new player for it. I think it's going to be interesting to see how he garners and really pushes the organization to a new level. You know, there's definitely a lot of money being made off of it, and I don't know who's holding the keys to the actual system, but it would be interesting to see if they can really change that. All right, next, let's go ahead and go down. We have, let's check out the weekly, a weekly stillness of spot. Our monthly, yeah, it is what it is, right? And let's also check out here. Yeah, I definitely would love to buy. Like I'm really looking forward to kind of coming back into these areas here. It's not a bad thing. I think this is a good thing, a retracement after these levels here to show where buyers are stepping back in at these levels are areas that we can sit there and say, look, this is not a dead project. If we saw it keep just shooting up to that 3 cent mark, I feel like it'd be disingenuous, and obviously somebody's manipulating this chart. But at these levels where it's coming down to, again, this shows that this is a healthy chart. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with Luna. And let's go ahead and move forward here. Put this right here. Here we go. Flow, Luna, hashtag vet. Let's check out vet here. Like I said, I brought up yesterday that we did see some pretty good sellers um, um, holding these areas here. I'm not convinced that we're going to see anything push up here for a while now, just simply because what we're seeing in the market, there is nothing substantial. All of these zones here have been traded through. So the next area of actual trade that you can actually play off of, and the reason why you're like, well, what about this wick? Because this wick has been traded throughout this whole entire time period. Maybe you have this right here, this part at this 19-cent mark, but even then it's not showing real strength. It's been traded through right here, traded through right here, traded through right into here. So the next part, and even this right here, has been traded. So I don't see VET going higher at this current point. I do see a sell-off coming in, but that's a good thing simply because people are going to be buying at those levels. So something to be paying attention to. Where are we at here? You can see that we did try to come and test that 8-period moving average on that weekly. It is continuing down though, and the next spot, like I said, maybe right here we might see a stop at this level here. Could be, but I highly doubt it, just simply because it's been traded through. It's reactionary. It's not necessarily, and even here, right here, right, like it's reactionary, but we didn't really put another higher high here. Like our high would have been right here, and then it put a higher high, put a lower high here. So now that's why I'm bearish on it coming back down to this area here, because all of these other levels have been traded through. So if I'm a technical analysis guy, or even, like let's say I'm an institution, I think it's a nice buy at 23. It's even better buy at 21, right? So, or it's a better buy. Meaning like this: if I could buy it for 2 cent, a 2 cent, what is it, hundredth of a cent or 10th of a cent, but it's even cheaper at 1 cent, too, right, for VET. Especially the fact that it's a major, it's a blockchain. It has a ton of stuff going on between it. So again, that's another area there. The second ICP, I don't think I have ICP here, but let me check to make sure. Yeah, there we go. ICP. This is looking ugly. Ugly. Not a bad thing, but it's just not pretty. What's the peak of it? Oh wow. So $6, and its peak was from 600 all the way down to 6. Oh man, it's literally 99% drop. Ouch. Or 98% drop here. That can hurt. Wow. Well, the upside is it's up. The upside is it could, at these levels, if it decides to come back, it could be big. But as you can see here, guys, there's not a lot of defense of buyers, right? So I do see. I don't know their fundamentals here. So, but from a weekly level, let's pull this out here real quick so we can look at this. Um, Let's play this right here on that weekly chart. Let's pull out the monthly and see where they're at. They've been around for a minute, so it's not like they're. We'll pull them up and see on CMC here, guys. Pardon me, that'll be a monthly bar. I think they've been around for a while. I mean, them getting listed here was about a year ago, but a little further than a year ago. 22 June, yeah. Check out a week. Let's go right here and see what's up. Alrighty, guys, you can see here. Last month, they had some fairly good buying on ICP, though. I'm looking at that, but when I look at that daily, I don't see much. So it's really the monthly that's really speaking to me. You can see here that there definitely is defense. So it is pushing up, but it hasn't pushed through these moving averages. If we can't get above these moving averages, then it's not a good sign. It's just not. We'll see. But up to this level right here, we could potentially see some movements. One, and then this one's right here. 1, 2, yeah. So it'd be nice. This might be an area of resistance. And then we also have all of these areas here of resistance as well. So this very much could be, if it does come back and rally, it could be rallying back at these levels here to turn around. So let's check at that. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. The monthly and the daily do not look good. That weekly does look sexy. I have to admit, with all those defense there, it looks nice. But as we can see here, volume is stepping down, and their average volume sitting at these levels, we're talking thousands. So it has some decent volume. So it looks like there is some money coming into the organization for internet computer. So I have to go look these guys up here real quick. Let me see how long. ICP. Computer. See how long they've been around. What do they do primarily? The live internet computer price today. ICP real time internet computer is down to the current. If you want to know where to buy, what is ICP? Internet computer ICP is a decentralized blockchain network that was officially launched in May of 2021. They've been around for a while. Well, about a year and a half. By Definity Foundation. Definity, sorry. That's weird. I can barely see that. Definity Foundation with a global goal to push the boundaries of internet functionality and support smart contracts development at a larger scale. Among the advantages of the project, including a skilled team of crypto enthusiasts and the capabilities for smart contracts, allowing developers to create dApps. Moreover, ICP supports almost endless scalability and a high level of security maintenance throughout a system of checks. Okay. The comprehensive mission of Internet Computer is to turn the public internet into a world-class computing platform that developers position Internet Computer as a revolutionary network due to facts that the blockchain is publicly available and equipped with impressive functionality. In addition, the project provides a boundless environment for smart contracts running at web speed with reduced computation costs. Might not be bad. Just throw $100 in. At these levels here, it's not bad. So, and they were up at $600-700 mark. So, you throw $100 in now. Imagine if you have a 200x. That's $20,000 right there. Not a bad day, right? So, I don't know. It depends on what you want to do with it. But I'm gonna have to go through and read through these guys a little bit more. I'm gonna keep an eye on these guys as a protocol, because it's not bad. And if at these levels, if I'm thinking they're going to come down to the $5, $4 mark area, it's going to be interesting to see as they play. Granted, it is it's a long shot, easily a long shot, but it's interesting to see if they catch on, right? If they really start to really do a lot of stuff with what they're doing, you could easily turn around real quick and check out their community here real quick, see how big it is on. So this is what I do, guys. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but what I'll do is I'll come down, I'll hit the chats to see where they're at, Discord and Telegram, right? So you hit this right here, and then what's going to happen is going to log you into Telegram. You log in, you join the community, start asking questions. Now the fact is that 42,000 members and only 2,000 online here, that's 4%. Or excuse me, not 4%. It's 2.5%. So it's about 2.5%, 3% of the community, which is not bad, but it's still, you'd want to see more for something as big as that. So it's something you want to look into. But something like this, what I'm looking at, right? You want to see how the community is going and what it's doing. Let's go ahead real quick and just finish off. So that's ICP. I do see ICP coming down all the way to this $5 mark, if not further. We'll see what happens from there. ICP next. Where are we at there? Are we going to do fill here? I know I don't have fill. Let's try this out real quick. We'll check that out later then. We'll see what's up with that, why I can't pull that up. It's FIL. Let's check this out real quick and see. FIL. Point F. Let's push this up here. Forgot that I had actually lowered this down, so that's why I was like, why is it so small? So it is quite a bit of watch lists. Contract. Here you are. And what is their rank among the coins? Where are they at? Circulating supplies. Nice. Volume. Nice. They have money definitely coming in. Fully diluted market cap in the billions. Okay, so if they're in the $2 billion market at this point, they're in the top 30 easily. FIL, there we are. All right, boom. All right, so FIL. All right. This is another one that's lost a lot of its value. It's 9. Wow. So it's been around for a minute, guys. It's been around since early or late 2000s. So where it rallied all the way up, wow, to when it first launched, $422. Then you saw a major sell-off, another initial climb, and the 2000 bull, and then now here we are at these levels. So this is like easily 90-something% off of its high. So it's interesting to think that this thing was almost at $100 billion, right? At its peak. Now it's sitting around $1 billion. Weekly should be a monthly as well. Yep, here we are. We'll do weekly. Right in here, these levels. Nice little area here for good retracement back. Let's check out our monthly here. I don't really see any real directional plays here except for the fact there's a ton of volume last month. We saw a sell-off into these areas. As you guys can see here, we do have this area here on that weekly chart as well as a monthly chart zone up in this level here. So I do see us more or less continuing down into these lower levels. Yeah, I mean, you can catch this on the cheap here. Real cheap. right here down these $5 480 mark for fill. I check that out here because these are, I want to pay attention to this one as well. On the weekly chart, let's put in the monthly 50. Oh, excuse me, weekly 50 there. So 200 or 100, pardon me. And then you have that 89 sitting right here. You guys go. This is a nice little area here. Be ready for it to come back down into this area here. We're definitely coming down to those lower levels. I'm almost guaranteeing that. If I can take a bet on my bets or on my look, and as I look at the market, I would definitely see this more down in here versus up in here. I definitely see us pushing down further on fill. Definitely looking at it like that. And then the next one, let's check out ApeCoin. I had a friend of mine who was talking to me a couple days ago about ApeCoin, and I told him they were talking about how it's going to hit higher levels, and I said it's first going to go down. We'll definitely see ApeCoin go down versus we've seen it going up, um, and that's kind of like what we did for the week. So we'll see what happens here now that we hit these 50-period moving average and continuing down. I think the next, like I said, this next level is the 4-cent mark versus the upper level here. So we were definitely ping-ponging, and it was a nice little junctional point in between here, inflection between the 5.75 and $6 mark to come, and that was a real nice play. It's just almost 25 cents to get $1, if not dollar, if not $2 mark here on your trade here. So your risk reward would have been right in this level, and then your first target would have been at this level right here. Actually, give me 1 second. I think I said first level is right, junctional area right here, and then the next part is down in this level here. So pay attention to that, guys. I think we are going to see continuation down at least into this area here, down in the $4 mark. If not, then we could see a rally from here and create new higher highs, or at least touch the 50-period moving average again in these levels, simply because you have a level right here on the daily, and on top of that, you have that 50-period moving average. So it's something that I would be paying attention to. Let's see here real quick, just to make sure. I'll put this level in right here for you guys. As a potential play for another to go short again, because you can see here that we have that 50-period moving average and that 100-period moving average. So if we hit this here again, we're going to come back, do a retracement back into those areas where there are current sellers, and then see it continue down. So we'll see how it works. Your position here would be more at a 573-ish area. You have your 50-period moving average sitting right here. So you have some resistance between $5.47 or 47 cent 6 area to about this $6. So it's a 50-cent a risk to catch the next leg down all the way down to that $4 mark. So it looks like a 4-to-1 ratio that you can catch. So be ready to play that if you can. Next, let's go ahead and go from Ape to EOS. All right. So boom. I have this right here. So we're looking like it's holding here. It might not. So I obviously it looks like I might have been saying it was going to move up for EOS. Um, did sell off, but man, look at this 50 period moving average. It tapped here, not tapped, but it held strong, went up, put lower high, but it put in higher lows here. So well, let's look at the volume. The volume is strong here. I want to change that. I want to change that real quick. So yeah, it did tap this, but it's looking like it's piercing it now. So we could see a sell-off down into this level here at the 1-2, and then retracing back into that 50. The 20 period moving average, as we can see here on the daily, is definitely looking weak. So it, meaning because its face is starting to come down. We can see here on the weekly here. So yes, this is a little area here of resistance. Definitely have. EOS is definitely bouncing off of this 20 or this 8 period moving average on the monthly, as well as the weekly. We're in between these stages here. So yeah, again, I do see us. This is a nice area because you can see how we've been catching the 8 period moving average. So it's been holding strong. The only thing is we did not put in this extra higher high here up into this level, but we did have to sell off. So these level, I'm bullish at these levels here because I do think we'll see another rally from here. If not, I mean, a rally from here up to at least the highs. Potential turnaround at 180, 170 mark, and then come back down and maybe do a little ping pong action in between this area. But I am bullish at this level still. I would still put that level up. And in between here, you can see between the other 8, and then on top of that, but you don't have really any zones in these levels. So your dynamic change, I mean, I guess you have something right here, but not much. We can put this in here as zones. The day zone. I would need to go back and look at this. But really, this is really our area here that we could see it come back down to. And it's in between that junctional turning point here on the weekly. So yeah, this is a nice little area of change here. Let's go ahead and move next to the EOS. Next is going to be H bar. Let's check out H bar. I know I've heard about H bar. I don't know much about H bar. HBAR, Tether, Bybix, BixX, Tether, H bar. I got to sit there and do my alphabets there for a second. LMNOPQR, no, F HI. There we are. Boom. H bar. Man, I know there's a crypto investor guy that I was following for a while when I first got in, and he was so bullish on H bar. I mean, he must have put thousands of dollars. I wonder if he's still around. Man, that just hurts. I know they're doing good things. I just, these guys got killed from the 30-cent mark, from that 27 mark all the way down to 6. It's almost 80% down where they've been. That is not looking pretty for them on that weekly. Let's look at them on the weekly here. That's going to be. So here we are. Yeah, guys, you definitely see the sellers defending this area here off that dynamic 8 supply zone. So I'm definitely seeing a sell off from here. Let's check out if we can actually pull in a zone right here. Here's our daily, guys. You can see that we hit these 100 period moving average. I bet you, where's that 200? I bet the 200 is probably sitting up in these levels right here, if not up in this level here. So, how far has it been? What is the deal? I don't understand why this keeps happening. I don't know. I gotta figure out what this is. And put it back in. We are. This is going to be. The next one here. Put this off. Okay. So I'm looking at this here on the daily. We definitely had a sell off at these levels here. So as I'm looking at this, I definitely see more of a downside here to H bar, guys. I don't see us holding this level here remotely. The fact is that it hit this junctional point here. So there are buyers stepping in at these levels somewhat, but you're not, or somewhat, but I'd want to see more buyers defending this area versus at these junctional points. So they're kind of waiting to see if the sellers are going to take over and push us even further down into our levels here. So I'm definitely bearish, because the reason why I'm bearish is because I don't see buyers stepping in. That's the reason. That's more reason why I see us coming down into these lower levels. But you can also see here that there are buyers down in these lower levels where we see defense up in here, right? So, and then, so I will see what happens. But I feel as if that big seller wick there coming in at the middle of this week here, they're gonna have to really try. I mean, buyers are really gonna step in and really push this high. So we'll find out what happens and find out what goes on. Give me 1 second. Let me put this in here. At least this is more or less kind of like my line in the sand here. find out what happens here at these levels. After this, your guess is best as mine. I'm gonna have to go on to sorry about that. Here we go. H bar. I do not understand what happened. Come on. H bar. There we go. H bar. How long have they been around? Let's check them out. They're sitting at fully diluted, and then the volume is still a ton of money. Market cap 1.4 billion. How far did they go back? Back to 2019. Back in this level here. So late September so they're about 2 years old here. And so, yeah, I could see how this guy loved this. They went from basically 1 cent all the way to 55 cents, 56 cents. So I think it was Crypto Mason was his name, or Mason Crypto, or something like that. I liked him a lot. I need to go check him out and see if he's some chart analysis skill sets here. He does. Oh man, I hope he sold off at these levels, man. Like right here would have been a perfect time to sell. Right here, good time to sell. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just looking at this, that real next. So here's the line of the sand that I put. This is where it's fighting off of this level right here. How many times has it bounced? So is that a monthly zone as well? Nope. Only monthly zone is right here with H bar sitting at right here. So 2 cent, 1 cent area for H bar. But here's the thing, you can see that it tapped here, and then you have that weekly zone sitting right here. Which we see that it's actually been playing off of this level here. So the next level is down at that 4 cent mark here. So let's go ahead, we'll put that in our actual chart here. We'll just put that here real quick. What is a weekly chart? Fine. Zero. next one's going to be that monthly zone that we put down. Area here. But yeah, guys, these are these levels that I would say we're probably going to come down to. I know that there's a minor one sitting here that we've been playing off of right here, right? But that big seller break that we see at these levels on H bar, it's just the sellers aren't defending, or the buyers are not defending this area. So I do see it's coming down into these lower levels here. We've been bouncing off of that other level that we were looking at, which bounced 1, 2, 3. And so it's definitely a rejection off of that 100 period moving average, as you guys can see here, coming down to these lower levels. We'll find out what happens though. I'm really curious to see on that peak, were there any defense? Not really, nothing. It was just a big push. But I guess you have some right here, but at these levels, I would like to see it come down into these levels here and then push up. But nor do we actually see a defense from the sellers too as well. So it's interesting to see what's going on. We are trending off of that 8 period moving average on that daily. So it's probably the 2-hour chart that's really holding strong here. You can see here that's following that 8 period moving average. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen. I think we're going to go down here soon. It's definitely not. I don't think it's going to hold. So, yeah, right here. Actually, no, I'll just delete this here. Yeah, we'll see. I think it's definitely might go down. I'm just definitely bearish on this. All right, sorry, I don't mean to be just keep talking about that. HR. Let's start XTZ. XTZ. Should I check out the perpetual contract compared to the other one? Right? XTZ right here as we look. How far does it go back? March. There we are. XTZ. What is it? T is before MNOPQRST. There we are. You guys can tell. All right, so here we are. We're sitting here at these levels for XTZ. Definitely at the $1.50 mark. Yeah, I'm gonna do this one tomorrow. It's getting pretty late, and I'm just getting pooped here. I do want to go over Sands Mana real quick. Sell. We already did sell real quick, and then our. I want to go over this one here real quick. AXS. Axie Affinity. So we talked about how I believe it was, I don't exactly remember where we were at. It was maybe when I first started this, so September. It was maybe in August. We're in this sideways pattern here. I felt maybe we were even up a little bit more at these levels here. We went, that's what it was. I think it was the first initial up position right here, where we went up, we put in the lower high, and then now the sell off came in. So Axie Affinity is showing major weakness, I feel. We should see another sell off come in out of Axie Infinity, simply because there aren't any other spots after this. So when it comes down into this level, it may spend a day or two, come back, hit, retest, and then sell off. The next position is that $5 mark here. So when that happens, be ready for that $5 mark. I don't know if the $2 mark for Axie Infinity, but again, these levels here are very much in reach of where we're sitting in comparison to where we were at. These levels here, as we see, they've already been traded off of. So the next real level we're sitting at is right here. So for me, that $5 mark for Xfinity is a go. I mean, for me it is. So looking forward to that if it does get down to there. All right, guys, so that's it in a nutshell. Mana is looking the same that we looked at it yesterday with that sell-off. Came down into our area that we were talking about, as we were talking about yesterday. It's coming back, retesting, look for a sell-off down into these lower levels again. I'm definitely waiting. This should come back, test into this level here, and then sell off. Pardon me. Actually, see if we can find a 4-hour level here for you guys. There we are. We already passed through it, so it might come back and retest this area here. Changes to 1. Intraday chart here, guys. You guys can see that. Let's play through it. Actually, this actually is looking real weak here at this level. The only thing saving grace here is the fact that you have those moving average sitting in the zone, so which makes it really strong. You have that 2-hour, you have that, not necessarily the 4-hour. Yeah, it's only the 2-hour and that 1-hour. You have the zone sitting at these levels. So we do see price stepping in and defending. We'll have to find out what happens at the end of the day. We're getting close to it. So let's check out Sands real quick. Looking very similar to them. A lot of defense right in these areas here. So we can definitely see defense coming in. But I don't think that these two are going to continue up. I think, again, it's going to go down into our lower levels. So be ready. If not, guys, you're ready to play off this 50-period moving average sitting here at the 1-hour. Yeah, pretty much is. That's the only spot. So, but I think we're going to come down into these levels before we do push up here, and if not, down at the 21 cent, 24 cent area. All right, guys, that's it in a nutshell. Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate you listening to me. Whoever you are, thank you. Please like, subscribe. Also, hit the notification button and throw in a like. The reason why I say throw in a like is it does help the algorithms push this stuff out. All right, guys, many blessings. Have a good day.